Hello, can anyone hear me? Hi, Sienna, can you hear me? Mm. Right, but bear with me. I'm gonna manage my channel. I have all sorts of problems. How thrilling is this? So frustrating. Oh dear. Let me get rid of that one. Yes. Okay. So people can only join this one. I have two people. That's wonderful. So people who understand YouTube, thank you, Leah. That means a lot. I'm really frustrated because I've had this booked in for basically a month. I've done four of them before, three or four, and for some reason I was having difficulty doing a preview, so I couldn't see anything. I don't know why. And then someone suggested try a different, try a new live stream, which I've just done, and this one's working. Yet the one that's been scheduled for about a month didn't work at all. So I don't understand it. And I did Google advice, and it was really unclear. Hi, Lily. Um, so I'm a bit concerned because I get anxious. I'm autistic. That people will try and find the original January January Blues live stream that I had scheduled. But I guess if they go looking for it, and I've deleted it now. I guess if they go looking for it or they had it in their calendar, then they just can't access it, and they'll eventually find this one. Someone please reassure me, because I'm worried that people will try and find me in the original scheduled live stream, which doesn't exist anymore. So, so annoying. Ah, Russell, you're here. Thank goodness. So, um, thank you for your suggestion. It was your suggestion because I did what you suggested. I went out of the one I scheduled, started a new one, and for some reason this one works. Um, and I'm just concerned that people will have clicked on the original one to get a notification that it started, but it will never start because it didn't work. Am I overanalyzing it? Oh, Yosemite Sam. Well, if it happened to the Yosemite Sam, that does make me feel a lot better because she's a professional autistic person. Oh, these things, just oh well. If people turn up, I'll get over it. How are you? Hey, Mark. Mark's a former colleague of mine. Hey, Mark. I've just been whinging. I spent about 4 minutes of people's lives moaning about making YouTube live work because I'm clueless. I you should see my setup. In fact, I just going to be possibly stupid. That's my setup. See, that light costs £14.99 from Curry's in Worcester, and I keep watching these videos where people have got like four different lights. There's this big round light that everyone seems to have on YouTube, and I'm not spending £200 on a light. So I went to Curry's, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I guess that's why people watch this to see a middle-aged man crumble under the pressure that he's created for himself by trying to do a live stream that he doesn't understand. So watching me have a mini meltdown might make you feel better about your own lives. maybe that's why everyone turns up, just watch me have to get increasingly anxious and go, "That guy has no idea what he's doing. I know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna hold my head up high." So please do use me as a gauge for how successful you're doing life. So I'm happy to be the fool if it makes you feel better. That makes sense. And I'll probably be here for about 3 hours if people do turn up. And, if you've never been to one of these before, um, I'll just warn you that none of it will make sense, which is annoying for an autistic person because we want everything to make sense. But I'm going against the grain and wittering because that's what I do in a live stream because I have to because there's no one else here to tell me to shut up. Unless you want to do that in the live in the chat board. So 14 people here. That's absolutely amazing. So I'm feeling a lot better than I did 7 minutes ago. I think because I used the same thumbnail, and that might help things. Yes. So people are just going to go to my channel and click on that, and they're going to turn up here. It's all good. It's all good. Right. So comments. If you have been here before, you'll know how appalling I am at keeping an eye on the comments and talking my gibberish at the same time. But I do rely on the comments to prompt me to speak because otherwise, if there's no comments. I'll just stare into the camera, and that won't be very interesting. It went disconnected, so I saw the new notification. That's that's a good thing, I think. Thank you. Yeah. I don't understand. And then people set up these YouTube videos saying, "Well, if you've got that problem, um, what you need to do is this." And then they spend 8 minutes talking about the problem, and then you're like, "Well, you've not told me how to solve it. Just tell me the thing that I need." And they say it with a smile on their face, like, "This is what you do. It's easy peasy. Oh, and by the way, I've got all these 4 amazing lights that cost $1,000." I'm like, "Just tell me what I need to do with my £14.99 light from Currys so that I can start a live stream I scheduled 29 days ago." Yeah, I'm getting annoyed. I was really looking forward to this. Um, right. Russell, when I refreshed the old one, I saw a video, not the, so I backed out and I found the new one. Yes. So we got there. And Russell, this is happening because of you, because you had the logic to suggest that I go out and come back in again, which is a solution to many of life's problems, as we all know. Just switch it off, switch it on again, or go out, go back in again, and everything's fine. That's true, isn't it? Um, I've never gone Sienna. I've never gone live on YouTube. I've gone live on my Instagram, but it's been a long time since I've done. I'm still figuring out Instagram. I reconnected with Mark. Say hello to Mark, everyone in the chat board. I used to work with Mark many years ago, and yeah, Insta. I'm still figuring it out. I'm always behind. I'm always behind every trend going because I'm autistic and I do my own thing, and then I gradually catch up and go, oh, well, better late than never. And so, yeah, Insta, I've dipped into it the last few months, but I'm rubbish at it. I don't know. It just seems like a photo album, and yet I find out that people are doing live streams. Like I didn't know you could do that, and that's brilliant. I'm not moaning about that. I'm just saying I didn't know you could do it. Um, and yeah, on TikTok, I've tried TikTok. Hopeless. Of course, it's been banned in the US. Is that correct? I can't believe I'm actually saying that out loud. Like, they banned an app in the number one democracy in the whole world. They've banned TikTok. So good job I didn't get invested in TikTok. And anyway, why am I saying that? Because I'm in the UK. But I wouldn't surprise me if our Prime Minister banned it as well. Because he's not there for us. He's there for the powerful rich man. So let me all bit politics. Yeah. I'll try to steer away from politics unless there's an appetite within the chat for you to hear my views on global problems. I imagine you'd rather listen to me rant about how difficult it was to get this live stream started, than you would want to hear me rant about certain politicians. But, I'll be swayed by you in the chat. And, and it doesn't have to be that either or. You can suggest anything at all within reason, and I will waffle on, as Paul at Adult with Autism says. I'll waffle, and then you can hopefully be entertained or discreetly leave. Because I've noticed if you get bored or you've got something better to do, or someone's made you a cup of tea, um, you don't need to announce it. You can just say, "Oh, I'm not doing this anymore," and leave. And the person muttering like I am into the void, they'll never know that you've left, other than looking at the count, which and there's 18 people here, which is amazing because as long as there's two or three, I think you're good to go. Um, so yeah, got loads of catching up to do. Democracy, yeah. Redistribute the wealth. Cattle Hex, yeah, yeah. That's those are my politics. Share it out. 3 words. Redistribute the wealth. 3 words. I was going to say something about the rich, which is 3 words as well, but I won't. Um, God, we got very radical within the first 10 minutes. That's just pretty good. That's the problem with me because when I do, excuse me, open my mouth, it's yeah, it's all or nothing. I went to a funeral today, and I'd scheduled this in, and then subsequently found out that I needed to go to a funeral. Obviously, it's a very sad day. Um, Also sad because I had to talk with people, and I'm rubbish at it. Um, that's a, that autistic thing of having a conversation and doing a post-mortem analysis after the conversation, which the neurotypical person, if you're speaking with, if they are indeed neurotypical, will not be doing. They will just have the conversation and move on. And excuse me, I was speaking with my cousin, and I kept referring to my gran as Sheila because to my cousin she would call my gran Sheila, and she said to me, "You don't need to call her Sheila. You can call her Gran. I will know who you're talking about." And I went beetroot red. I'm like, and it wasn't even the biggest faux pas I've ever made, but that's it. My brain just collapsed in on itself, like making a footprint in snow. Bit of poetry there, and yeah, I felt mortified. But then she sent me a message, and then she was apologising for not speaking with my wife and my son. So maybe she does overanalyze like I do. So yeah, I went to a funeral today, and this is my opportunity to tell you about that and waffle on. I've already lost 3 people. This is how it goes. But yeah, you shouldn't chase after numbers. Um, Mark, please don't worry. I forgot to change. Could get rhubarb crumble. I'm not sure what that means. Last 52 years of my life haven't made sense. Yeah, welcome to my world. 43, and still don't know what to do with my life, and still horribly confused and depressed. But this YouTube autism community has been, I'm not going to exaggerate, say a lifesaver, because actually the lifesaver was the woman I spoke with at crisis who suggested I might be autistic and then set me on the path towards a diagnosis. Um, but I have felt very, very bad the last 12 months. 2024 was a horrible one, and having this community, this way to escape from the world, particularly all the news about Gaza, but in combination with work challenges, I just wasn't coping very well, and having the community here is a massive help. Um, so thank you very much. So, yeah, just a pack of new printers, genius. You open the box and the packaging around the printer's handles on it, so you can just no more trying to tip it out. Yeah, why can't the world be more practical? He says, being the most impractical person in the world. You know, why can't a YouTube video? I'm going to stop whinging about that. It's working now. Just get over it, Neil, and don't talk about yourself in the third person. It's weird. Don't do it, Neil. Um, Lizzie's in the room. She's just nipped. Everyone say hello to Lizzie, who is otherwise known as Creative Autistic. Favorite autism channels, and I'm not just. And some of you will know that as well because you've heard nice things about Lizzie's channel. And Lizzie, I saw you post a video today. As I've just said, been in a funeral today, and then I was farting around trying to work this, and I haven't had time to watch anyone else's videos. But I will get to yours and Paul, Adult with Autism. He's just posted another one. He doesn't tend to do that often these days because he's more on his Patreon. So yeah, I've got at least two autism YouTube videos. And while I'm talking about that, if you've got any recommendations for uh, particularly autism YouTube channels, please do put them in the chat. Or anything of interest, put it in the chat. One of my favourite YouTubers, as a result of someone's suggestion, is Dana Anderson, up in Warrington, I believe, in the UK. Um, really down to earth, just very easy to listen to her, and I identify with a lot of what she says. So if you've got any other recommendations for YouTubers, then please let me know, or any resources. Um, Right. Hello from the East Coast, Canada. No, I've not embarrassingly brought my US red map, which I had a weird fixation with, but you know, I'm autistic. That's what I do. I haven't. I've deliberately not placed it next to me because I had a bad habit in my first two or three live streams of seeing where people are from and then getting the big red atlas and going, I think I can find where you are. And then it was too big and unwieldy, and it was really boring to watch. Um, a middle-aged man in the UK look for an obscure, sorry, small or large place in Canada or the US. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to ask where you're from, and in the East Coast of Asia, isn't it? That's Vancouver's the other end. Right. Yes, I'm just going to catch up with the chat. On way behind. Sorry for my loss. So yeah, my uncle's wife passed away. Um, she was going to be 57 in March this year. And yeah, I got back home from seeing my grandma on New Year's Eve. No, in fact, I did a live stream on the 30th of December, and then 31st of December, I was on the computer, probably looking up YouTube videos on autism, and I got a WhatsApp from my gran who I'd just seen for a few days after Christmas, and my uncle's wife passed away after a very short illness. So I didn't. She wasn't particularly close to me, but I met her a few times, went to her wedding, and this woman. So yeah, gutting. Bit worried about my uncle, as you would be, because he's he relied upon his wife a lot. I think he's realizing that now. Right, I'm catching up. My wife tells me to stop talking about myself in the third person. Um, don't take this the wrong way, but do you need those reminders? Um, I don't know, maybe you do. I know that Neil should stop referring to himself in the third person, whoever Neil is. Right. Okay, I'm loving these autistic chats. It's probably more efficient for the factory to make all the boxes to the same spec and simplifies inventory keeping. Mwah. Russell, what a beautiful sentence. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds good. Um, Agent X-Force says, Russell, you're probably right. I'm absolutely certain that Russell's right, and I have no idea what he's talking about. I mean, it's because of Russell that we're having this hugely entertaining monologue from myself because I would have probably just given up because the previous version didn't work. And I was going, "Oh, sod it." And I was gonna put a message or a holding message saying, "Sorry, guys." And then Russell said, "Try it again," and here we are. And you're all having such a great time. I can tell. 56 is way too young and, well, way too young anyway, isn't it? I mean, I'm 43. I mean, I do think about death a lot more these days. And that was before my uncle's wife passed away. Um, and, yeah, it's no age. It's no age. And I'm absolutely gutted for, my uncle and his wife's son. He's, only 22 and he just graduated. Um, but my wife's, mum passed away when we were 25, and I said this to my cousin, said, you know, it's we can empathise even more so perhaps than some people because, you know, you're in your early 20s, you're about to sort of really establish yourself, and then, you know, mum passes away. It's just missing out on the weddings and the kids if that's the plan, and, yeah, just it's never a good time, is it? It's never a good time, but yeah, Josh, what a lovely lad. Absolute credit, uncle and his partner. Um, yeah, 58 in Feb. Coming up soon, Russell. Yeah, I confused people. I made out that my birthday was on the 20th. No, it's the 17th. So remember next year. Virtual cards. If you're anything like me, you'll remember my birthday being the 17th, just based on the fact I've mentioned it twice. Um, I don't know why I remember birthdays of people that I don't know that well. Um, it's an information thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, that's interesting. That will stay. But you know, all the information I need to do my day job properly, that goes in one and out the other, and I struggle because I'm like, uh, that's information, but I'm not interested in it. Like, I have to be interested in it because it's going to help me do my job, which will help me feed my family and pay for electricity so I can do live streaming. So be interested in that knowledge about such and such, and it's a constant battle every day. Yeah. But so this is my outlet. So I'm like, all right, okay, I've had a 7.5 hours at work of doing things I don't really want to do. Now it's my time, and I'm gonna make a silly video and wear my wife's clothes because that's how I roll. I disclosed this at the funeral to a couple of people. One of the people being my gran, if she hadn't already suspected that I'm a little bit odd. And yeah, a woman called Jenny. She wanted to meet me because she has video footage of me dancing at my great grandparents' 50th golden wedding anniversary. And I remember the dancing. Like I was like bopping up and down for like 2 hours solid. Um, in December 1989, which you know, autistic brain or what? I've just my brain, my brain immediately when I said that out loud, December 1989. You know what my brain said? Have a guess. Go on, let's play a game. What did my brain say when I said December 1989? And I'm going to scroll down, and I'm sorry if I've missed comments, as I will keep apologising for doing that. Um, yeah, thank you, Scott. Yeah, belated happy birthday. Airport expansions. Oh yeah, rubbish. Climate change. What climate change? Yeah, appalling. Um, so yeah, is this a pointless guessing game? Yes, it probably is. But why might I've what might have I the 1989 with? Okay, put you out your misery. Um, the internal cajoling encouragement. Taylor Swift was born in December 1989, don't you know? And in fact, it might be the 14th of December 1989 when Taylor Swift was born. So I'm not touching the computer, I'm not Googling, I haven't got the means to check. You tell me, someone, one person tell me whether Taylor Swift was born on the 14th of December 1989. If I'm correct, I will not know whether to cheer or to cry. So yeah, let me know. So yeah, December 1989, I just danced all night on this 50th wedding anniversary event. And and, and Jenny, must be in her 70s now. She said I did the funky chicken. I don't remember that. And she said, "How does it go?" And I went, you got better. This is a wake, but 100 people there, and I'm in the middle of the room with Jenny. Sort of, she's in a chair, and I'm sort of looming over in a weird odd way because I'm 5'5", so I'm not really looming. I'm probably on the same level actually. And she said, "Oh, how does it go?" And I'm like this, and she goes, "Yeah, yeah," and the tune, and then she starts to do it, and I'm like shamefully go. She's like, "Yes," and I'm doing the funky chicken at a wake. Um, it amused her. It amused me. What doesn't amuse me is the fact that she has a recording of me, um, very autistically being very happy, dancing. Yeah, I do remember it, December '89. How time flies. Um, yeah, I've just seen. I mean, grief sucks. This is not planned. This is a live stream. I'm not scripting any of this, as you know. Probably, again, hindsight, probably should have put a content warning. Grief is obviously a really horrible subject. So I'm sorry if it's triggering. I will try to bear that in mind if I'm going to talk about such things. Yeah, sorry. Sorry if it's made people upset. I didn't. I'm just talking. I'm just gabbling. That's the nature of this. Um, I did. I went to a conference yesterday, Chamber of Commerce. Talked about autism and ADHD to loads of business people. Get me? I know. And I mentioned that uncertainty is anxiety, and anxiety is pain, which was semi-scripted because I think I've said that in a previous video, something similar. And I think it was that comment that triggered one of the members of the audience, a person, and and I found out not from her directly, but from my colleague who'd made me aware of this conference and asked me to speak with her. She said that something I'd said was triggering because it reminded her of the challenges she's had being neurotypical, living with her autistic husband and his uh, need for clarity. And I get that. It drives my wife around the bend when I'll ask questions to confirm exactly what's going on, like when, where, how, all the 5 WH questions. When, why? Why should I do that? Um, and I need the information so I'm safe, so I know what to do. It mystifies me that people are happy to just gamble with gamble with life. Like, we might be meeting those people over there at this time by train or by bus, or let's just see. I'm like, no, no, let's not just see. Let's plan. Um, I get how that could be irritating. Um, someone who doesn't require that level of detail, planning, and safety. So I unintentionally triggered someone. I don't think in a particularly bad way, but I do have to be careful that some things I'm saying might make people upset, and I'm not. It's not my intention ever, ever. If I said something to be truly mean, oh yeah, I talked about. No, no, I wasn't being. I wasn't being mean. I was just being a dickhead. Yeah, that's different. I was showing off. Um, Christmas tree, have you taken it down yet? Yeah, it went down on the 6th, as it should. Tradition states 6 days, 6th of January, 12 days of Christmas, so that's the last day. So my wife took it down. I would have left it there, to be honest, which is probably an executive functioning thing, like, "Oh, I'll do that tomorrow," and then tomorrow, it's like, "Oh, it's Christmas again, tree hasn't been taken down." Saved me a job. It's been there all year. Just leave it there. It's not getting in the way in our house. Um, so having to read that room and speak into it. I enjoyed the conference very much, because I got to talk about autism and ADHD and challenge some myths about autism. Um, but yeah, whether it's embedded in people's mind or whether they just remember that this some short guy said a few things, I don't know. But you've got to try. I mean, and if one conference did all the work that you needed to do, then our autism advocacy would be very easy indeed, would it not? But you have to repeatedly take any opportunity you can to educate people and get them to empathise with autistic people. And one conference is a drop in the ocean, isn't it? Um, Obviously, I mentioned the channel. Um, I haven't looked at the stats since the conference, which was yesterday. Oh, how many views have I got? How many LinkedIn connections have I got? Barely any, which I knew would happen. People are like, "Oh, yeah, it's very interesting," and I'm sure they did find some of it interesting. But it's unless you're unless you're autistic or you're running an autism related business, you're not really going to be that interested, in my view. I wasn't interested in autism at all for 40 years. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say you should be interested in autism. Um, you know, but there was an opportunity to blather on, and if one person went back to their company and said, we should look at our quality policies and figure out how to be more accommodating and empathetic towards autistic people who work for us, then that is my my dream. That's what I'm doing with the YouTube. I'm trying to you know, make the world a kinder place, as pompous as that may sound. Yeah, second apology, and this is going to be second of many. I am sorry if I've missed your comments. I'm trying not to be rude, but um, so yeah, I'm just taking them as I see them. Am I a counsellor full time? No, I'm not. Um, it's not a full time wage. If it was, then I might have become one. But yeah, this is why a lot of counsellors in the UK are retired because you can't pay your all your bills. So I'm quite odd for for doing it because it's a lot of stress. Well, it's less stressful now because there are more people in my particular political party who are also councillors, but I was the only one for 4 years, and I didn't have a job for 2 of those years. Um, so yeah, I was going to these meetings and I was earning about £4,000 a year. So yeah, it's not a full-time job. It should be a full-time job, but unless you pay, you're not gonna attract people. So and I'm spending more and more time on YouTube doing autism advocacy. I see these high-profile autistic people I'm not denigrating at all, I'm jealous. I'm an admiration of people like Pete Warmby, Paul Micallef for Autism from the Inside, Orion Kelly, Samantha Stein, Ellie somebody, can't remember her name now. But anyway, various people who appear to be making a full-time living out of autism advocacy. I'm I'm trying. I'd love to do this full time. I've just signed up to join an autism group uh, in where I am, sort of a strategic group that will help the county council tailor its services, I believe. Anyway, I put my hat in the ring, and they said, "Yep, meeting next month in February." Um, what else? I'm gonna, after this conference, hopefully help people, carers, work on their resources for autistic clients. I'm trying, but it's hard. I'm not a business person, so I've no idea how to get things set up. No idea. But if people are there to listen, and I feel that what I have to say is worthwhile, then I'll keep blathering on. And if there's no paid work in it, then I've still got YouTube. I've still got you guys. Still got you, and that's all I need. But I also need to pay the bills. Yeah. Tay Tay. God, I'm way behind. Tay Tay. That's what my daughter calls Taylor Swift. Tay Tay. Cool. Um, Seeing lots of transition. 13th. God, I'm so behind. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, fourth apology. I was one day off knowing Taylor Swift's birthday. Yeah. Why do I know that? Why? I don't need to. I don't need that information. I'm never going to meet Taylor Swift and say, "Oh, it's your birthday coming up, Tay Tay. Um, what would you like? I know you're a billionaire, but I can find you something." I don't need to know when Taylor Swift's birthday is, and yet I do know. Well, I did. I was one day out. Um, Hold on, my calendar to remind me. Yeah, it's bizarre. Oh, Jeanette's in the room. Sorry, Jeanette, you've probably been here about 4 years. Just popped on, and you probably left. Just popped on to say hi, everyone. Can't stick around as I have a poorly dog, but we'll watch later with Red. Well, good. So you'll see the reference I've just made to yourself, but not in the moment that I'm saying it. Thank you. I hope this live stream is partially entertaining for people who've chosen to sacrifice part of their Friday evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Birdie song. God, I'm so behind in the comments. Yeah, was that the Birdie song? Yeah, Funky Chicken. I got it wrong. Oh no, I've got to phone up Jenny in her 70s and say, Jenny, newsflash, Funky Chicken isn't what I thought it was. She'll be like, oh, I'm so relieved that you told me that because I was just going to perform the Funky Chicken, and now you've corrected me, and I'll get it right, and I will dance for 3 hours at someone's 50th wedding anniversary in my 70s. Yeah, I bet she would actually. She seemed really fun. That wasn't awkward at all. There was a glint in her eyes, like, "I'm gonna get on with you." So I don't hate conversations unanimously, like, yeah. But I guess it was easier because of she met me, albeit 35 years ago when I was a child. And so there was an immediate topic. Where I struggle is, like, what am I gonna say? And then I put my foot in it, and then I put the other foot in it, and then I lose balance, and it's a mess. Sorry, Lizzie, I'm way behind. How am I with public speaking? I don't think I'm very good at it, but I've had a lot of practice in my previous job at the University of Worcester. Um, I worked in the career service, and so I had to go around all these lectures and give the same talk about an employability award that I run on my own. Not that that's a brag; it's just that they didn't employ people to do the work that needed to be done, so it was all on me. Um, with some help towards the end of the academic year. And I did a lot of public speaking, and yeah, and that like anything at practice, it's not my comfort zone really, unless I'm talking about autism, which it's so easy to be honest, actually, because I'm living it. It's all up there, albeit not contradicting myself with what I've just said about practice. I think having years of talking in front of hundreds of people, lecture theatres, that sort of thing, and to a lesser extent, talking at council. I stood up and stood in my soapbox and put the world to rights, and not been very good at that, but I've done a lot of it. I think a bit of practice, and you just learn to be more succinct and use. I wouldn't say sound bites. That sounds contrived, but understand that people's patience can be quite short, and they're not going to listen to a 20-minute monologue. Um, yeah. So practice, but if it's about autism, I'm good to go. I'm not scared because this is me, you know. I spent 3 years I've spent 43 years living as an autistic person, but 3 years obsessively learning about it and talking about it now. So the public speaking was okay. Um, I mean, it's like our favourite, you know, Stuart Lee, the comedian Stuart Lee. Um, he does public speaking for a living, making people laugh. But he can't look people in the eye when he's having a conversation. Um, you know, and Hannah Gadsby, autistic Australian comedian, um, does the same. Stuart Lee does, you know, talks in front of huge crowds, absolutely amazing at it, really funny. Struggles on a one-to-one conversation. So I can completely identify that. I did, well, I used to do stand-up poetry. I think I mentioned this before. Um, and it's brilliant, making a room of people laugh. It's just amazing. Um, but yeah, anxiety, and I remember vividly one audience didn't laugh at all, and it was so embarrassing because I was certain that the poem would land. It was about seeing a guy in Asda, um, Walmart, if you're in the US, because I think those companies are connected. And I will catch up in the chat, by the way. Please stick around. If I don't acknowledge you, then I'm so sorry, but I will get there. And this guy was wearing these denim shorts, and I think people call these things uh, budgie smugglers. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just a funny phrase. It's just objectively funny. Someone at some point has looked at someone in a pair of Speedos and gone, you know what I'm going to call those Speedos? Those swimming trunks, swimming pants. Um, I'm going to call those budgie smugglers because I can imagine that in order to move a budgie from A to B, you could house them in these lycra pants, and therefore they would not be swimming trunks or pants; they would be budgie smugglers. And yeah, this guy in Asda was wearing denim shorts, and I still get flashbacks. Oof, like, one minute I'm looking at a cucumber, the next minute I'm looking at him. Like, ugh. Anyway, the poem was about that. Hilarious, as you can probably tell, without me sharing the poem. And it wasn't like tumbleweed. Tumbleweed would suggest that there was a small sort of ball of weeds gently caressing the floor in transit. That's a pretentious way of saying moving along. And no, it wasn't a little bundle of wiry sticks. It was. I was going to swear then. I try not to swear on these things. It was a tree barreling its way through a small venue, and a massive howling wind sound. And I think I even went like, "Shh," like I did the gesture, like now laugh, and they were just like, "What? Not who are you? What are you?" It's like, what was that? I don't care about someone's budgie smugglers in Asda. I want to hear Wordsworth, and yeah, I'm really into my poetry clearly, so I can't think of another poet. I'll never forget that. It was horrible. So yeah, that public speaking, yeah. But it was hopefully a fun story for you to hear just now. Oh, it was rubbish. It was a good poem. As I say so myself, it was good. It was not bad. It scanned, at the very least. It had a rhythm to it, even if the content was appallingly rude. You could see da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Laughter, please. I need your laughter, otherwise my self-esteem won't exist. And they were like, don't like that. I want to listen to John's poetry about his upbringing in Redditch. Well, fine. Why can't you enjoy both? He got loads of laughs. John did. I'm not bitter about it. I'm very bitter about it. There's a difference. Right, Funky Gibbons song by the Goodies. Right, so you've got because I'm autistic, I like information, I like going on Wikipedia, it's one of my favorite things. So I'm going to write things down that I find particularly interesting or I'm going to look up later. So the Goodies, and you can indulge me while I do that or disappear without announcing it like Jeanette very kindly did. You can just say he's being very boring now, I'm going to leave. Uh, but if not, then please stay. Goodies, yeah, Funky Gibbon, cool. Thank you, Russell, my favourite person of the day. What the difference between Asperger's and autism? Is Asperger's just been less on the spectrum? Mark, really important question. And I can only give my autistic perspective. I'm not the authority, as we all know. I mean, Asperger's was removed from the DSM manual in 2013, and if you are going to be diagnosed as autistic, then you can only be diagnosed as autistic, although there are levels in the US. But Asperger's isn't used in any formal diagnosis, or it shouldn't be if everything stems back to the DSM, the manual, the DSM-5. Um, but to really answer your question, there's no such thing as being less on the spectrum. It's because it's not linear. It's not like, you know, you're quite autistic and very autistic. So if you're quite autistic, you're less on the spectrum. It's a palette. It's a combination of traits. Um, but that's a debate within the autism community that will rage on, I think. I I I personally find the word Aspie like a cat dragging its nails down a blackboard. That's my not so diplomatic way of putting it. But I do understand that if you had a diagnosis as someone having Asperger's, pre-2013 when that term was still being used, then I've got no problem with that. That's your diagnosis. That's part of you. But post-2013, and then this idea that you can be less or more autistic, no, it needs to get in the bin because if they're more autistic than me, that's saying I should just get on with things better because I'm less autistic. No, every day of my life is a challenge because I'm anxious permanently, because I'm scared permanently, because the world is moving too fast for me. Are you telling me that I'm less autistic? No, I'm autistic. You're autistic, and we're all unique. You know, it's that Monty Python thing which I always love. It's you know, Life of Brian. We're all different, and then the guy says, "I'm not." It's kind of that. Um, I suppose it's like different sensitivities together, they can be very still exhausted today. Well, okay, yeah, yeah. It's a debate. It's going to go on. I mean, this is my view. This is my live stream, and if you want to challenge what anything I've said, then I'm welcome debate. You know, I'm not the authority. Um, yeah, Russell used well, it used to be. That's it. That was the point. It used to be separate diagnosis. Russell said it far more succinctly than I did. Lily gets fixated on things, goes into meltdowns. Yeah, I get fixated on things all the time, like my YouTube channel. Is that a bad thing? Um, I don't think so. It regulates my emotions massively doing this. It gives me something to look forward to. I write music reviews these days. Um, I spend ages on music reviews, um, just writing dad jokes, but within the context of a music review. Um, I can spend 4 hours without getting off my chair, like doing a live stream. Um, that's a fixation. Is that a bad thing? Is it harming anyone? The only thing it's harming is my lower back. I can deal with that. Um, and yeah, meltdowns. I know what that feels like. I tend to have shutdowns, but yeah. But like I said, if you want to refer to yourself as having Asperger's, being an Aspie, fine. I don't like the word Aspie, but that's personal preference. I said at the conference yesterday, um, and this is the last thing I said. Um, I prefer autistic person over person with autism, and the best way of expressing this was, in my view, a phrase from Jodie Hare, who I've mentioned in a couple of videos, who wrote "Autism is not a disease," and she's gay and autistic, and she said, "I'm not a person with lesbianism. I am a lesbian." I think that's a brilliant way of putting forward that point about I prefer autistic person than person with autism. But the really important point is it's down to people's personal preference. And the best way of finding that out is to ask the autistic person or the person with autism what their preference is. I think, and that curiosity in autism, in my experience, is so rare. And I said this at the conference that if you start a conversation with an autistic person with autism about autism and how and their autistic experiences, you're probably going to have a friend for life because no one ever brings it up because they're not interested in it. I wasn't interested in it for 40 years until it applied to me. Um, so yeah, it's a personal preference. Aspie, person with autism, autistic person, you know, it's Paul, adult with autism, has done a brilliant video about this. It is semantics at the end of the day. It's words, but caveat: we know how powerful words are, and we've been called all sorts of labels. I imagine I'm speaking for everyone now. Um, and words do matter, but they can be very hurtful and very um, inaccurate. But Asperger's, person with autism, autistic person, I think yes, it's a debate that will rage on. I think there are bigger battles for the autistic community that should be fought, in my view, and it can only be my view. I'm only one person. Um, I have a heart to make good changes in the community. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm in politics. Well, I've started to lose belief in my ability to change things for the better. Um, and yeah, I'm sort of hunkering down a lot more these days. And this what the community here helps me a lot with that. It gives me a lot of it's my sanctuary, um, because I'm scared and I'm getting old. So I don't. I became a councillor at 30. I've been involved in politics since the Iraq War. It's been a huge part of my life. But yeah, I've always wanted to do good in the world. The autistic's strong sense of justice. Greta Thunberg, brilliant example. And by the way, she refers to herself as having Asperger's. Do I like her any less for that? Absolutely not. Fine. She's doing good in the world. That's all I care about. Um, yeah, but, we're all trying our best, aren't we? But I think what I struggle with is when I'm doing something that I believe is good, and then people misinterpret that willfully and say, "Oh, you're being manipulative," or whatever people say about me or other autistic people. That really frustrates me. It's like, well, no, my intention was not that at all. But yeah, I'm starting to get be a bit more self-preserving, like looking after myself a bit more. And you could argue that's selfish, but again, Paul, adult with autism, um, self-preservation is not selfishness. There's a huge difference. It's taken me over 40 years to realize that. Um, so yeah, talk about Mark's daughter Lily. Yeah, she phones me out Yeah, get it to breathe, break it down the problems in manageable pieces. Yeah, I mean, just to identify with that, that's what I still struggle with. I can't like I took a week of stress from work last month, and I just couldn't dismantle the issue that I'd caused, although it wasn't just me. I just saw this like big iceberg, and I was heading straight for it, and I just couldn't break down the problem, break down the iceberg. And I took a week off, and logical part of my brain was saying, "This is not the end of the world. No one's passed away because of what you've done. It's just, it's a work-based thing. It'll be dealt with." And I just couldn't handle it, and effectively, I did have a meltdown, and took a week off. So yeah, but that's why you need support. You need people to you know, talk about with, and she can talk to her dad. She's talking to the best person. Um, yeah. So I'm so pleased that you're talking amongst yourselves, because not least because I do witter on and I miss comments. Yeah, please do keep talking amongst yourselves. If you've got YouTube channels to share with each other, please do that. Mum's very good. Struggling with emotional meltdowns. Yeah, yeah. My parents weren't so good at that, but I'm 43, so I don't live with them anymore. If you are in your 40s and you live with your parents, that is fine. I'm not judging that at all. Just to be super paranoid for a moment. And if you live in the UK and you're in your 40s and you live with your parents, you're probably part of the majority, because no one can afford to buy their own house. Mad. Um, Liz, you're not good at dreadful at public. I'm sure you're not dreadful, but if you have a genuine fear of it, then yeah, why would you? Yeah, you're not going to put yourself in that situation. Play to your strengths. I mean, creative autistic Lizzie videos are so relatable. It's also beautifully designed because she's creative autistic. Um, Yeah, play to your strengths. Keep doing what you're doing, because yeah, it's really unique and very, very relatable. And public speaking, Pete Warmby, for example, who wrote Untypical. He does public speaking all the time, but then he was a teacher, so I think that's where he got his confidence from. He's autistic, um, and he's done loads of public speaking as a teacher, and he does it talking about autism and gets paid for it. Great, but some autistic people, that would be the last thing they'd want to do. That's fine. Um, uh, God, it's speedos. Oh, I went off on about speedos. Yeah, lol. We want the poem. Um, God, I'm way behind. The poem. What was it called? Oh, I can't remember now. I think it's on my website. Hang on. Let me. How indulgent is this? But then, it's a live stream. You've chosen to be here. I've not dragged you here, so I'm going to talk about myself, because that's the nature of this, isn't it? It's all part of the content creation, the authenticity, and the self-referential sarkiness is part of that. Right, let's have a look. Writings. Oh yeah, here it is. Right, you ready for this? It's called The Man in Denim Shorts. So this is because of my former colleague Mark suggesting that I read this. And it's not to make out that it's a very good poem. It's to back up the story that I shared a few minutes ago, which probably felt like a lifetime ago. So here goes. The Man in Denim Shorts. I didn't expect to be doing a poetry reading tonight, but you never know what's going to happen with a live stream. So The Man in Denim Shorts. I only went in to get fruit and veg. Shortly after entering, I was put on edge. Oh, what I would have done for a hedge or a wall to conceal the view. The man in denim shorts was there. It was incredibly hard not to stare. Such a display of bulges is rare. I didn't know what to do. I'd seen cycling shorts baggier than those. To think that he actually chose to wear such inappropriate clothes, I was in a state of shock. Yes, I admit my pulse did quicken, and a lump in my throat began to thicken. I hadn't come in to get some chicken, but I did see a cock. I actually quite feel shameful reading that last line. No wonder no one laughed when I read it all those years ago. It's a convoluted knob gag. I only just realised that. I thought it was, you know, it was a true story. I'm autistic. I tell the truth. It was a true story. So I thought that gave it its innate merit. So it was worth sharing on the basis of its veracity, its truthfulness. Actually, just reading that for the first time in years, realised it's just a knob gag. So yeah, no wonder they didn't laugh. Yeah, quite a few of my poems are probably just knob gags. You only live once. You if you can't laugh about that, then you only be in your deathbed saying, I really wish I'd written more knob gags. You don't want that regret to be your last conscious moment. You want to say to your family, oh, I'm sorry, trigger warning, I'm talking about death again, but I'm being really flippant at the same time. Anyway, I'll carry on. If you don't like it, you can leave the room and I won't know. I won't be offended. But yeah, you don't want your family to be sort of crouched around your bed, like the the, the end point that surely all of us want, to peacefully drift off with our loved ones watching on. You don't want to say to that congregation of generations, um, "We just, I'm so pleased that you're here, but I just wish I'd shared more knob gags." You wouldn't want that. Or was that just me? Yeah, sorry. I can delete the recording afterwards. I know Jeanette wants to watch it, but no, she doesn't need to hear that. Mind you, she's from up north in England, I should say, and yeah, they're very, very down to earth. So she might appreciate that little segment, if you can call it that. So thanks, Mark. We want the poem. We want the poem. You had the poem, um, and as I'm being on, this is a really short one. I'm on a roll now. It's called Otter Nonsense. It's probably my best work. It's hard to understand otters. They mix up their letters and only use vols. Yeah, you can't argue with that, can you? That's top drawer. Um, oh, Lizzie's gone. She missed. Oh, she missed that. Oh, well, that's my fault for being so slow with the chat, isn't it? Sienna, I have an idea for a future video on the channel. Anything handheld? So, yes, Sienna, if you're still here, Sienna Price in the chat. Sienna's got her own channel, and she's very interested in music. Difference between me and Sienna is Sienna's actually talented and she can play instruments, and you yeah, you explore different instrumentation, and yeah, that's definitely a good idea. Do it. Mark, something nearly made you sick. Hopefully not the poem. Hi Jenny, Autistic Jenny, another channel that I love. Jenny's huge inspiration, does collaborations with autistic content creators, and she's just posted one about executive functioning. Go and see Autistic Jenny's channel. She's a lot more prolific and inventive than I could ever be, and she's very supportive. And just go and watch her channel. Go and watch her videos, even just very relatable and particularly interesting for someone like myself being in the UK. And it's like, oh my word, it's not someone all the way over there. And of course, I've met other people through YouTube in the States and other countries, and I'm like, wow, I thought I was the only one. No, there's Jenny in the US. She has the same or similar challenges that I have in the UK. It's brilliant. Not brilliant that we have these challenges, but brilliant that we're not alone. So anyway, go and look at her videos. They're brilliant. And I'm not going to say brilliant anymore. Oops. Oh, Mark's gone. Phone's about to die. Sorry. Probably, oh, more death. Oh, stop talking about death, albeit it's only a phone. Um, uh, hate labels, won't let them test me, but certainly ADHD, only my brain is hyperactive. Um, I hate labels when they get in the back of my neck and they're really scratchy and I can't reach, or I'm in a crowded room and it'd be awkward to try and get rid of the label. But joking aside, because that was hilarious, I think labels are important because otherwise, uh, it's difficult to know how to make adjustments, and I hesitate to use the medical analogy because I'm not because that would maybe imply that autism is an illness or a disease, which, as we all know, it is not. It is a difference. It's a neurotype. It's not a negative thing at all. But just go with me. If you go to a doctor and you say, I hurt, I am in pain, then that's it's gonna be a long time before we find out what the solution is. And you need a label. You need detail in order to find out how to help overcome the problem that you have. Um, That was a rubbish explanation, but labels help with getting support. That's the short version. So and also from a legal standpoint, having a formal diagnosis can help within the workplace in particular. Although I did read, and I really should check this out, confirm it, that you can self-recognize as autistic and still, request reasonable adjustments under the Equality Act in the UK. But I'm not a legal expert, but I think labels it can help get support. Um, Negative labels, bullying labels, of course, they can all get in the bin. Um, I got oh yeah, the poem. Yeah, thank you for all the praise. Yeah, when I used to do quite regular gigs, although my daughter says they're not gigs unless it's music. So they're not poet. You can't have a poetry gig. It's poetry reading, which sounds really pretentious. And I don't do poetry reading. I do poetry knob gags, or used to. Um, yeah, and but the thing is, I learnt a valuable lesson that time when it went down like a Led Zeppelin. Uh, you can't please everyone. It's a lesson I should have learnt way before then, as an autistic person who has found in life that he tends to please very few people indeed. Because I'm not in the same wavelength as most people because I'm literally in a minority as an autistic person. So should have learned that I can't please everyone because I had spent up until that point many years not pleasing most people. Um, but Jim, this time it landed with guffaws and thunderous applause, which I like because that rhymes. Guffaws and applause. Maybe there's a poem there. I wasn't pleased. Isabella, hello, Isabella. Go and see Isabella's channel. Isabella's in Sweden, I believe. I wasn't pleased with the denim shorts and the the contours. Yeah, it wasn't a flat space. God, it wasn't a flat space. You should hope not. He's a gentleman. There's got to be something there, but I didn't want to see it. That's the point. So I wasn't pleased. I went in to get fruit and veg, not see his fruit and veg. Ha! I didn't actually see it, of course. I wasn't waving it around the place. It's just they were tighter than swimming trunks. They were. It's a crime against humanity. And if you think that's an exaggeration, well, I would say to that, you weren't there. You didn't see the shorts. So let me just catch up here. Um, Donnell's God, sorry, Donnell. Um, the otter poem reminds me of Spike Milligan poem. Said the mother turned to the baby, said, "Would you like a brother?" Said the baby turned to the mother, "Yes, one could turn to." yeah, I mean, Spike Milligan, he's a dude. I remember when Spike Milligan passed because, I remember dates as we've made clear, as I've made clear. Um, Someone correct me if I'm wrong, which I think it was. I think he passed 2002, a long time ago. Yeah, just unanimously popular guy, I believe. It's a funny, funny man. Um, at least the Speedo man likely can't have kids. Yeah, I don't want to joke about someone I don't know's lack of fertility, but they would have had trouble. Yeah, they were tight, as I've made clear. Um, yeah, for all I know, he's got 9 kids who also wear denim shorts on a regular basis as, I know, family uniform. But anyway, that's just going down a path. I'm not going to go down that path. Um, Whatever that path might have been, let's just stop. I don't have smells or glares. Sometimes sounds force me. I don't like what I consider obscene visual force to me. Yeah, obscene visuals. I should have said, yeah, hark, get your obscene visuals away from me. Maybe not even responding to the fruit and veg man, but I just like the expression obscene visuals, be gone. Which for me is most things as soon as I leave the front door. It's like, oh, traffic, ugh, people, ugh, noise. I've got to go to work, ugh, office, ugh. It's just a sea of obscene visuals. Just let me be here and chat rubbish on YouTube. Why can't you let me do that? Let me just go up. Um, Speaking Tom, if you've been here before, you know how random I am with the chat. So apologies, it's not in order, but that's just how I roll because I get talking and then I miss things and I'm like, I've got to go back and check what people have said. I want people to feel included and also people say funny things and really interesting things. So I don't want to miss out. Um, so yeah, I've probably missed a load. I've missed Mark going, Lizzie going, but that's cool. I'll catch up with them another time, hopefully. Thank you for streaming because it helps with loneliness for me. Oh, that means the world. Thank you, Aunt Mikey's Place. Doing the live stream, it's makes me feel it's better about everything. I, I said this before. I had no idea it would be so fun and so validating to do this, to talk at my laptop for hours sometimes, well, all times. It's an hour and a quarter. I can't believe it. I'm like, it's just the time just vanishes. If you ever want to, you're thinking about doing a live stream, um, then it's just so cathartic, I find, to connect with people, and feel less alone. So I'm with you on that because, I'm with you because we're not alone anymore. Haha. Um, so yeah, I'm hopping all over the place. Um, I did, as you said, public speaking's wrecked her career. I'm sure that's not true. But mind you, she's autistic, so probably is true. Sorry, Lizzie, creative autistic. Yeah. Uh, Great that I can speak in public. I have trouble speaking about anything, even English. I'll tell you one story. Which really shattered my ego. It's before the pandemic. I was uh, giving a speech in the high street in town, like a political speech. For some reason, I was really, really nervous about it, and that shows. I was like literally shaking. And a guy came up to me, quite an old guy, and said, "I thought you'd be good at public speaking," and I was really, really wounded by that. It's like, yeah, and I thought you'd be good at giving constructive feedback, you random person. I wasn't witty or composed enough to say that at the time. But the reason he thought that I'd be good at public speaking is because, I'm a counsellor, and I understand his assumption. Um, and it was a terrible speech, to be fair. But I wonder whether he might have been autistic because he was very, very blunt, but that's not to say that you should go around just instantly diagnosing people as autistic. But yeah, he didn't beat around the bush. He was like, "That was crap. I thought you'd be good at that." So, cheers, mate. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I've given plenty of terrible speeches. Like my wedding speech. I've done a whole video on that one. Public speaking depends on the context, depends on the subject. Can't believe I just remembered the wedding speech, which set me on the autism path in the first place. So yeah, public speaking terrifying, depending on the context or the subject. I find, and the amount of practice you've had. As a 26-year-old who found weddings to be a grotesque way of spending money, I found it very difficult to talk about very personal feelings in front of 80 people. It's quite an odd thing if you think about it. I think anyway. Like, I'm going to declare my love for someone who I'd rather share feelings with in private, if you don't mind. And yet at a wedding, it's like, no, you've got to get your heart and put it on a slab and let everyone feast on it. There's my heart. There's my heart, everyone. Oh, oh, so romantic. Heart beating on a slab. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, the image is weird, I know that, but the concept, that's a metaphor to make the point. And I guess it's like why some people, autistic people can be seen as very amusing because we look at things in different ways. Yes, it can be amusing, but it can destroy the most important day of your life. But having been on my autism journey and had many conversations and read many lovely comments, I realised that the word destroy is a little bit of an exaggeration. Yeah, I wasn't prepared to give a public performance on that day, but if you get me at a business conference talking about autism, I'm there. I'm doing it. So yeah, I'm not clearly based on what that man said on the high street 5 or 6 years ago. I'm not a public speaking expert by any means. It's as and when. I'm suspicious of public speakers. Present company excluded. Too much dis. Yeah, I mean, we know how powerful, persuasive public speaking can be. The obvious example being a certain chap in 1930s Germany, and I don't think um, that his success in winning people over onto his side within his country was entirely due to his public speaking prowess. I think that's possibly exaggerated, but then I'm not a historian. I'm not haven't analysed it. Um, that said, you can kind of see from the grainy footage of this certain individual that people would be, well, it is compelling. Not the beliefs, obviously nothing to do with the beliefs, but the style, the theatrics. I'm not surprised that you be distrust public speakers as a rule because it's a performance, and performances are inherently insincere, and insincerity is posh word anathema to autistic people. It's we don't want insincerity, we want sincerity, we want truth because we have truth, we know where we stand. The public speaker putting on performance, that's filtered knowledge, that's putting a slant on things, and we don't like that as autistic people as a rule. Uh, So I do get the whole public speaking. Ugh. But when you're talking about autism to an audience, well, can't get around it unless you just press play in a YouTube video, which I did think about doing, but then I thought, 100 people from various businesses looking at me and my wife's clothes might not go down as well as I'd like it to. So I just gave a bit of a talk. But maybe next time I will. I'll just go, check this out, everyone, and then I'll be me doing my dainty French walk to the window with my fabulous legs, looking out the window, and they'll go, "What the, what the hell is this? I thought we were here to learn about autism in the workplace. Just watching some random guy dressing up his wife's clothes." And I'll be like, "Shh, that's the skit. You got to watch the next 5 minutes." And I'll be going, "What? What's the rest of it?" Because people will be filing out. Like, we didn't come here to watch some random person show off that he's a transvestite. That's just, yeah. So maybe I'll just stick with the corporate. Like, I'm here to talk about autism. This is why you should be interested. It will be increase your profit margins, which I didn't say that yesterday. But I did try to connect it to work. I didn't just, it's like autism, blah blah blah. It's like within a work setting. Remember the brief. Remember the brief. Remember the brief. Yeah, I didn't work on my wedding day when I was 26, but I think it worked yesterday when I was 43. So with age comes wisdom, apparently. Um, way behind on this. Morphological parsimony. Morphological, I have no idea what that means, but I'm intrigued, so I have to find out later, unless you've put an explanation in the chat board about 3 years ago. Yeah, Paul's here. Oh, the guy, but you probably here been 4 years ago. Adult with autism. Paul, are you still here? And if you are, I'll zoom right back down to the chat and acknowledge your most recent comment as well. Everyone say hello to Paul if you've not done so already. I've mentioned his channel at least 3 times in the last hour and 23 minutes. I've also raised the term Aspie because it sounds cringy to me, but I hate the term spurg or spurge. I've never even heard that. I hate it, and that's the first time I've heard it. Just finished watching Paul's video on narcissism. That was the video I alluded to. Paul's just uploaded another video, autism and narcissism. I've had to put it on the back burner because, like I said, been to a funeral, had a meltdown with figuring this out, and then I was straight into the live stream thanks to Russell, who saved the day. So we'll check Paul's video out later. It's Yeah, I just know it's going to be good. It's like half hour, like right, half hour. Sit back, listen to Paul. It's always good. He's just a magician, like talking to camera for 30 minutes without edits. It's just yeah, I can't do that. He says having done an hour and 24, but it's been a mess, which is part of the charm, I know. But I do like I like neat and tidy videos, and Paul's are neat and tidy, but he manages to do half hour, very funny, very profound, very relatable talks about aspects of being autistic. And I just know, well, I think what would happen is I'd do what I do in a live stream. The ADHD part of my brain would just make random connections, and then the theme that I had in mind would soon disappear. And so I'd badge the video. What would I badge it? I don't know, reasonable adjustments at work. And if it was like just talking to camera like Paul does so well, it would maybe be 4 minutes of reasonable adjustments, 6 minutes on Taylor Swift's birthday, 9 minutes on why Aberdeen Football Club are terrible despite winning the first 10 games of the season. Why I can't lose a stone so that I can break the fastest, break the world record for the fastest half marathon run by a lumberjack, which I'm hoping to do September, but it's looking increasingly unlikely because I keep drinking alcohol and sitting on my ass doing this. yeah, and then that would be the video, and then people go, I wanna watch, Autistic Not Alien, Reasonable Adjustments." So that might be really useful because, yeah, I think I might be autistic, or I know I'm autistic, and I wanna find out how this chap, has got on with it. I'm like, they'll be watching it, be like, "I don't care about Taylor Swift. I don't care about a stupid world record attempt. This isn't about reasonable adjustments." And then they'll pick up their laptop and then lob it against the wall. So this is why I do the tightly edited, because I'm just bonkers, as you can tell. Um, I just it's just my way. The cost of the downside of doing the quick edits, and my autistic best mate Alex has said this to me, is it just doesn't come across as authentic. Well, of course it wouldn't, because it's edited. It's like a public speaking gig. It's like it's edited. It's not completely sincere, but I do it to, control autistic control, and to neatly package it so it's relevant. But I'd like to think that I'll have a go at doing what Paul does so brilliantly, and like maybe rein it in by having a few notes and sort of keep reminding myself. Dana Anderson as well. Just maybe it's a northern thing. Yeah, just they're both northern. Yeah, North England. Um, I don't know. It's just the honesty just shines through, and they keep it within the the time limit. So yeah. Um, oh, I can't wait by invite. Uh, Sienna Price. Let me get Sienna's. No, that's. I don't want my video. I don't want my video. I want Sienna's video. Let me see if I can get it in there. Although you probably figured it out. Bear with. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. Sienna Price. Go and find Sienna Price's YouTube video channel. Can't do two things at once. Um, God, I'm way behind. Right. Poem. Is Paul still here? Maybe he's disappeared to do something far more interesting, entertaining. Um, he's retracted the message. Maybe he was telling me to jog on or hurry up with the chat board catching up. Um, I wish I did see self-preservation as a force for good for myself when I was younger. It would make me feel not as bad for turning down. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Without knowing I'm autistic, just endlessly people pleasing. This is the importance of having a label, for I'm not making, having a dig at anyone for making that point, but for me, having knowing that I'm autistic would have absolutely made me look after myself more, and it kills me. Pardon the contradiction. It kills me to think that I've spent 26 years, or 25 years, whatever, just yeah, putting myself second, which sounds like, oh, I always look after other people first. Well, clearly I am selfish to an extent. We all are. We have to be. But I mean, sort of going above and beyond to please people and doing things that we don't want to do, that we don't have to do, and then finding out that often we don't end up pleasing people anyway by doing the thing that we've reluctantly said we would do. But now that I know that I'm autistic, I do say no to things. I'm like, I said no to Paul, um, which I hated doing, but I was in a really bad place. Um, and as much as I love Paul, I just don't think I would have been much fun company for him in the state that I was. So, um, but if I hadn't known that I am autistic, and I somehow knew Paul, um, then I would have made myself go to the pub, yeah. But self-preservation is, don't go to the pub, or don't go to that party that someone's asked you to go, or whatever it might be. I'm using very obvious examples. Say no, I'm autistic. I like being in control of my environment. I like watching YouTube videos about autism, or Paul likes wrestling, or we're both obsessed. Well, I'm obsessed with football. Um, that's fine, and don't feel bad about it. But I only don't feel bad about that self-preservation because I now finally know that I'm autistic. I mean, doing this live stream, massive indulgence. Do I feel bad about it? I feel bad about not catching up with the chat board. Other than that, not harming anyone. It's been on the calendar for 4 weeks, so I didn't just spring it on my family. And they mock me relentlessly for doing this. They find it funny, so um, right, way down. Right. Oh, Lily's back. She's been back for ages, probably. Once I met someone at work, spoken to on the phone before. They said they thought I'd be in my 50s because I sounded well old. I was 28 at the time. Yeah, it's weird that autistic people, because some autistic people are very eloquent, unlike myself, but like Sanford Curtis, who I assume is being very eloquent and well spoken because we like clarity and picking the right words, because that's what words are for. Put them in the right order, think about the words, convey the meaning that you intended. No, no. And there's that uncanny valley thing, like an autistic person communicating with a neurotypical person, and we put in a lot of value in the words, and I think that can come across in our tone, and then that people say things like that. Oh, you sounded well old. Like, I'm imagining you were just trying to be as clear as possible. Um, Sounding older than we are, possibly, and yet looking younger than we are. I mean, I'm 43. I got asked for ID a couple of years ago, which I'm still celebrating. Like, yes, I got ID'd in the arcade. I wasn't even buying alcohol. I wasn't even going to gamble. I just wanted to have a look. Ooh, shiny lights. Um, why did I go in there? I think I was scouting out locations for a video that never got made because that's my brain. Ooh, pop video. I'll make a music video for a song that I haven't even written yet. Um, so I walked into this arcade. And it's like, oh, you got any ID? And I'm like, have I got ID? You betcha. I'm 41. I've got driver's license. I've got my counsellor lanyard. I've got blah de blah de blah. Yeah. So I think quite common for autistic people to look younger than they are, but again, that's maybe a massive generalization. But I am very short, so that might be it. It's not my beautiful skin, which, as you would have seen from my video, or the religion one, the skit. God, I looked old in that. Yeah. Sienna, my husband's almost completely blind, autistic, both of the same brain. Um, yeah, cool. Really, I think you make an excellent woman. Yeah, thank you. I don't tell J.K. Rowling. Oh, she'd be upset if she said that. Um, yeah, I think I make a decent woman for a silly YouTube video. Apart from that, no, I'm clearly not doing very well as a woman. Sienna's watching while listening to calming music and fidgeting with one of my sensory brushes. Yeah, good for you. No harm done. Carry on. Um, what are we talking about, Harriet? I've no idea, and it's my live stream. I have absolutely no idea. I hate January. Hello, everyone. Tim. Yep, jog on January blues. So February tomorrow. Yay! The year properly gets started. It really January drags, doesn't it? I put this in the calendar ages ago. Well, at the start, that's my point. At the start of January, and it's felt like 8 weeks since I did that. It's always January. I've heard the term autistic baby face somewhere. It is a thing apparently. Um, Autistic people can look several years younger than they are. Yeah, and I read that the reason for this it could be that because we don't move. I'm not speaking for all autistic people, but autistic people who look younger than they actually are, a reason for their youthful features may be that because they don't move their facial features as much as a neurotypical person, we're not as expressive, so we don't go, you know, not caricatures, but we don't move our faces as much as neurotypical people do. The amount of times, as I've said in a video, I think people have said, "Cheer up, mate." Mono face, yeah. Um, It's just my face, I'm not saying be miserable, have a miserable face. That's not part of the constant inner narrative, monologue that I have. Uh, well, if I'm public speaking or I'm at a wedding or a funeral, I'm like, "Right, masking, right." Yes, that, but generally, if I'm walking down the road, getting from A to B, my face is just naturally flat, it's just like, "Cheer up, mate." Like, I was elated until I met you. Um, and because we're not pulling our face, not with our fingers, but like showing our emotions in so-called conventional way, we've got fewer wrinkles. Apparently, that's the reason for the autistic baby face. And I get that if you're not doing fake smiles like seems to be acceptable, or just pretending to feel something that you don't actually feel, or exaggerating your emotions, or actually just showing your emotions, but in a conventionally sort of neurotypical way, um, then if you're doing all of that, then you're more likely to have, I don't know what I was doing there, wrinkles. So there is something to be said for autistic mono face, which I don't think is a standard term, but I made it up. But yeah, you can make you look younger and get ID'd in an arcade. What a thrill! Who said being autistic is entirely negative? You can get asked for your driver's license while you're just hovering around a fruit machine. Oh, I better not talk about fruit again. See, brain, ADHD, fruit and veg. If you weren't here earlier, I uh, I was obliged to share a poem about discovering a man wearing very tight denim shorts, otherwise known as budgie smugglers. And I saw uh, these shorts, this bizarre uniform, in the fruit and veg section of Asda. It was hilarious. You should have been there. And if you weren't there, you can watch this back and lose more time of your life in your life. I attribute our youthful look to emoting less in life. Yeah, that's why it took me 5 minutes to say that. I'm so sorry, Scott. This is why I don't do conversations, because I just you know go off in 8 different directions. Much prefer the written word, poetry, music reviews, YouTube scripts. My day job is about writing. That sounds grand. It's really not. Um, but I'm in control. But talking to people, I find it really hard because I always think, am I saying the right thing? And it's okay because this is a safe space. As cliched as that might sound, but I, this is what I want it to be. I hope it is. And if I say anything stupid, then as long as I'm not being offensive, then you'll just go, ha ha, he's been stupid. No harm done. Move on to the next YouTube video. But in real life, because this is all part of the matrix, this is parallel universe. In real life, actually having a conversation, it makes me anxious, so I avoid them. Um, right, as much as possible. Um, when I was 27, someone thought I was under 20. Yeah, now that I'm quite grey, I definitely did go 50, but I didn't think I'll hit 58. Take the win, Russell. Take it. Get crow's feet in my eyes, only 34. Yeah, we're all different. That's the point. But I have heard of the baby face thing. Um, oh, Amanda's gone. Sorry, Amanda, I missed you. Bye. If you have already gone, um, I'll call you and check out Sienna's YouTube. I think that's what that means. Laura Havoc, hello again. Welcome. Lee Anderson's about a month older than me, but looks several years older. Is he the politician? If so, yeah, he does look like might be a bit older than he is. What does that even mean? I don't have a I don't know how old he is, so I can't make that comment. Um, oh, good seeing it. I feel safe. This is it. That's why we're doing it, because yeah, we're in the minority, and no one wants to be alone. So, you know, YouTube it is for me anyway, and clearly for others. So let's keep doing it. Um, I'm getting a lot past stuff that makes me. Oh, bye, Amanda. Yeah, she's gone. Mister. Cool. I like live. I like seeing people similar to me. Yeah. I mean, I really got into live streams over Christmas. Watching them more than doing them myself. Um, and it was really, really, really interesting because um, I was so used to seeing edited videos, like people in an edited YouTube video about autism, um, and seeing live streams, like seeing just obviously seeing a whole different side to people, and still autistic, obviously, but obviously, natural sort of flow of conversation or monologue, and absolutely fascinating. And I was just watching a video while I was trying to figure out how to get this live stream working tonight. I did watch a YouTube video about how to make it work because I was having problems until Russell solved it. And the person said live streams are like increasingly popular. People just love they tend to stick around longer for live streams than they do the scripted, heavily edited videos that we spend ages making. And yet turn up on a live stream wearing a hoodie with a 15 quid light, people are like, "Oh yes, tell me more about Taylor Swift's birthday." I'm like, "What? What about the video that took me 15 hours to make about autistic people telling the truth or how we're misunderstood? Why don't you go and watch that? That took me 15 hours to make." Nah, watch a live stream. Um, Amanda, I'm already feeling safe. I was about to do a video advocating for myself. Yeah, well, do it because more autistic voices heard, the better. If it's YouTube, if it's staff group, if it's just standing up, just speaking with family members or speaking to our person about autism. It's all part of it. All part of it. Hello from Canada. Cool. Please not Taylor. Yeah, I won't call them back. Taylor Swift's massively talented. Um, that's my view. But no, I'm not going to do a deep dive into the works of Taylor Swift. Don't worry about that. Right, let me just catch up here. It's an amazing 26 people. Fantastic. Yeah, I promise I won't be here all night. I've got a music review to finish. I'll keep talking about music reviews. My latest special interest. And yeah, I really want to finish it tomorrow. Oh, and the reason I chose to review the band, because you can do that. They send you a spreadsheet of all these bands, and the records records, you know what I mean, albums, singles, and whatnot that are about to be released. They put them on the spreadsheet, the editors, and say, right, which one do you want to review? And I'm like, cool. Well, I'll pick that one, and it is the EP that I'm reviewing. The band is called the DSM-4. I was like, well, I've got to review them because that's to do with autism. And the content of the EP is not really about autism, um, but it's a really interesting record called. So I'd never heard of them, and you probably haven't either. Album's called Negative Utopia. Um, so yeah, I've got to finish the review. I say I've got to. I chose to do it, and I chose to review that particular EP because of the band name, and I happen to really enjoy the EP. So yeah, I'd like to wrap that up tonight, but as you can probably tell, energy levels are dipping. So you know, see how long people stick around. So I'm here for the long haul. So please don't think I'm bailing. But ADHD, I'm like, all right, I've got to do a live stream. Got to finish the DSM review. Got to reply to comments on YouTube videos. Not that there are ever that many, but when they come, I make sure I reply to them or try to. All right. Oh, it's 1 in the morning now. I've got to do park run tomorrow, but I'm too tired to do park run because I was up last night doing too many things. So yeah, I never get it right. The executive function. Like it's like do this, that, and the other. Where are the priorities? Well, this is the priority for now, and I'm going to stay for a bit longer, quite a bit longer. He says. That was interesting, wasn't it? I do a lot of stims with my mouth. When I was young, people told me not to pull faces because if the wind changes, my face would stay like that. The wind changed and my face did not get stuck. Yeah. I think I believed that one. Oh, what was I doing? I think I was doing like the cross-eyed thing, with the look towards the the end of your nose. And I think someone said something to me like, "Oh well, if there's a big gust of wind and you're doing cross-eyed, then they'll stay like that." And they didn't stay like that, despite me wearing glasses. That's not the reason I'm wearing glasses because I crossed my eyes and then there was a gust of wind. That's not why. Just in case you needed that confirmation of why I wear glasses. Or, as my cousin at the funeral said today, it's not glasses, it's glasses. It's like I've not lived in southern England for quite a long time. I live in the Midlands, and in the Midlands, it's glasses. Yeah, it's not arses, it's asses. Yeah, that's how they talk up here. Um, yeah, but from I'd say yeah, from Oxford down, or maybe Banbury, maybe Banbury. It's like Banbury down. It's glasses. It's like no. If you heard the thumping there, that was my daughter probably giving me a hint, or she's fallen out of bed. Sorry, I'm a linguist, morphological parsimony, using the fewest possible. Oh wow, I mean that. Thank you, solipsistic bovine. Um, I am all over the place here. But you're here for it. Oh, I've lost 5 people in the last 5 minutes, so that says a lot. Uh, Once I met someone at work, no, they've got that bit. We got married in Thailand, just the two of us, no party. Um, yeah, just the two of us, no party, no people there except small congregation. That's it. That's all that's needed. Well, I do get the big occasion. I do understand that, but yeah, I personally couldn't deal with the pressure and the expectations, and that applies to life in general. I could not put up or meet the expectations on my wedding day, and that's been a template for my whole life. Yeah. these are the expectations of broader society, and I'm autistic, and I just can't meet them, and that's fine because those expectations aren't inherently right. They're just the majority. They're different, and that is the hill I will die on. And I will die on that hill because I will have been chased by an angry mob of neurotypical people saying, "Meet our expectations. This is not just a dodgy metaphor and a bad dad joke. This is a real hill, and we are going to make sure you die on it." And I'm talking about death again, and I'm sorry about that. Problem of unscripted, authentic live streaming, just chatting gibberish, mixing metaphors, and repeatedly talking about an unpleasant subject, which potentially is triggering, and I'm sorry. But if you've been watching my death videos or watched one or two of them, you will know that I am the most flippant, sarcastic, that sounds Liverpudlian. Um, I'm very flippant, sarcastic, and always looking for a gag, to be honest. Like a joke, not an actual gag. Because if I could find a gag in this room, I'd use it on myself and shut up, and then there'd be no jokes and there'd be no live stream. A gag about a gag. It's not. It's not bad. It's just very unfunny. 30p Lee Anderson. Yeah, right, everyone. I said I wasn't going to talk about politics. Um, 1 hour 52. I've been too nice until now. So if the numbers are climbing up again. Bless you. You don't know what you've stepped into. Um, so yeah, Lee Anderson, 30p Lee, reform. Yeah, I shouldn't get so much pleasure out of denigrating far right politicians, but they seem to be in the ascendancy, gaining popularity, and I'm terrified of that. So while I have freedom of speech because fascism hasn't quite taken hold yet, I should use that privilege to bash the far right because who knows, in 2 or 3 years, maybe not even that, I might not have that right, and they'll grab this laptop, find the recording of this live stream, and say, "You had a dig at 30p Lee, and he's not called 30p Lee. That's not his Christian name. That's a derogatory label. That he's not actually called 30p Lee Anderson." Well, yeah, but he's deservedly called that because he made his own flippant remark about cost of living, I believe. So go away, fascist person who's raided my house in the middle of the night to take my laptop, who deems me a threat to state security, despite me being just some random autistic guy blathering on. Go away. No, it's fascism now. You're not allowed to say anything derogatory about our leaders. So use the privilege while you have it, and not just to offload, like I am now, and being silly. Use your influence if you have the energy to do so to challenge these awful people who are not there for us. And what was it? Trump was trying to. I just saw a headline. I've not looked into it. I was too depressing. He's trying to sort of ban equality legislation or whatever it might be in the states. I mean, these are battles that have taken years, decades to win. Legislation, and someone comes in and sweeps it all away and says, "Nah, equality. That was so yesterday. We're not doing that anymore. Back to inequality. More of that." So you can kind of see why autistic people tend to, well, some autistic people gravitate towards politics because we're so used to being trodden on that, yeah, we'll tend to stick up for people who are being mistreated. That's the way I see it anyway. It's no, it's all hindsight, you know. Look back at the last 22 years of being involved in politics, and I'm like, oh right, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm autistic, so sort of I tend to side with the person who's being mistreated because I'm so used to being mistreated, so I can connect with that sadly. Um, and people like 30p Lee Anderson, who, if you don't know, is a politician in the UK. Based on the little I know about this chap, um, I wish he wasn't involved in politics because, unfortunately, he's a member of parliament who has a lot of influence, a lot more than I have. But I just can carve out my niche on YouTube and cross my fingers and hope for the best, and go to boring council meetings and hope that people listen to me, which I don't think they really do because I'm autistic, uncanny valley, double empathy problem, boring, monotonous voice. That's just Neil talking about the redistribution of wealth and how rotten Lee Anderson is. Um, Switch off, wait for the next speaker. All right, neurotypical, talking about keeping the wealth within fewer hands, not more. Oh, I'll listen to that. Really? You go into politics to make more people miserable? Yet they seem to be queuing up. Like, more of that, please. It's like that Stuart Lee sketch I've just remembered. Like, yeah, I voting for Brexit. I only wanted bendy bananas, which they're already bendy anyway. I only wanted bendy bananas, and now I've got this chaotic inferno of hate. He does it a lot better because it's his own material and he's had lots of practice. Check it out. Stuart Lee on Brexit. He the best ranter and yeah, the best autistic ranter, surely. Um, so yeah, Lee Anderson, jog on, January Blues, jog on. Right-wing politicians who do not care about you. Hey, others in CA, is that California? Thanks for music reviewer insider stuff. I'm here all day, all night, all day. Music, music, music. I just I'm obsessed with it. It's just so confident. Oh, and next video, all scoop. I might do one on. The more I think, the more I say it out loud, 'cause I mentioned it to my brother at the funeral today, and then when I said that out loud, I was like, "Oh, it sounds rubbish." But anyway, I thought I might do a YouTube video about intensity of emotions. Ooh. Because I was listening to um track by what's her name? I want to get. I have to. I'm autistic. I need to spell the name correctly. Um, bear with me. There we are. I knew it had two S's. He says when he was about to write two R's. Um, put it in the chat. So again, random brain said, right, what you need to do is you need to play while you're working at home. Zara Larsson's beautiful song "Invisible," which is from possibly my favorite film, if only because of this song, Klaus. It's a Christmas film. I never thought I'd say that in my 40s. A Christmas film, a cartoon, might actually be my favorite film of all time. Um, and uh, and I was crying quite considerably listening to this song on repeat because I'm autistic and that is a form of stimming. I have found out in my 40s. Um, what a song! What a song! Oh, should I try and play it? Should I try and play the chord? Should I try and show off? I don't know, like it's four chords. How'd you get it? It's not planned, as you probably would have gathered. It's cap on the fourth fret. Invisible, Zara Larsson. I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to sing. Um, what is it? Four chords. C. Embarrass myself now. Ooh, C. Sounds like Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. That's not what I intended. Anyway, the chords definitely C, G, E minor, D. Um, famous pop progression. And this, like, on paper, really simple song, which I can't play, uh, just had me in bits. I was just bawling my eyes out. Um, and of course now I know I'm autistic. I'm like, are you crying so much because you're autistic, or is this like a normal human reaction? I'm like, I don't think most people would do that. Like willfully playing a song that they know will cause this massively indulgent appreciation of someone's pop genius whilst also crying, and then inadvertently using that as a story to tell in a YouTube live stream. I don't think most people would do that, but that's what I did, and this song is just heavenly. So yeah, and if you've not seen the film, go and see the film. Go to the cinema. You can't see it at the cinema. Find it. Find it. And for Canadians in the room, shout out to Norm Macdonald, who is really funny, as he always is. He's got quite a small part in this cartoon. But yeah, he's just perfect. So good in it. So I was late, like I am to most things, to Norm Macdonald, who again talking about passing away again. Anyway, Norm Macdonald's not with us anymore, and yeah, really funny guy. And he's in Klaus as a voice actor, and and then he played this song towards the end of the film, and it's like this is just the best. So it's just crying my eyes out when I watched it again at Christmas. It's become a Christmas tradition watching this film. Like, and that song kicks in. Our living rooms, we live in a really old house. There's the living room down in the basement, just damp everywhere. Anyway, and it's kind of sectioned off a bit, and there's a wall that kind of conceals me from my my daughter, my son, and my wife, who sit on the nice sofa. I sit in the rubbishy sofa in the corner. My choice. I'm sure it was my choice. They didn't tell me to sit there. And we were watching Klaus at Christmas Day, and Invisible started playing, and I was like getting further behind the wall. Like they they don't need to see this. They don't need to see a 42-year-old man crying in front of a cartoon on Christmas Day. That was fun, wasn't it? The guitar was completely unnecessary. It was I just felt like it because it was there, to be honest. Um, right. Margot's here. Hello, Margot. Um, Harriet, our community stands used to ignore or dismiss us and regularly assume that I don't understand what's going on when I fully understand. Yeah, I get this patronizing, like, oh, I don't know, is that okay? Like, do you understand? I said to one of my colleagues, and I was really blunt, because I'm autistic, and she was talking to me in such a way that made me blurt out, um, you know, I've not got a head injury. I'm autistic. I've not fallen over and hit my head. And if you have and you have a head injury, then, I'm not I was gonna say I'm not knocking it, not a good choice of words. Digging a hole, um, she was talking to me like I was not comprehending English. It's like, "No, I'm not a child. Or injured. I'm not an injured child, although I look young and unbroken. Um, I'm an autistic middle-aged man who can understand full sentences. I can understand paragraphs. I'm that good." Um, and yeah, it was just like, yeah, I know I'm different, but I'm not. I don't need to be sort of spoon-fed information. Well, I'm having it both ways really, because joking aside, if you convey too much information to me verbally in one go, then I have to write it down. I did it today at the funeral. Um, Jenny, who was so entertained by my story about me dancing all night on my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary party, she told me the name of a, a website, a YouTube channel that her daughter has. And I forgot it 2 minutes later, and that was one piece of information. So I'm having it both ways here. Don't patronize me, but actually, you know what? Can you talk quite slowly? Because I can't remember, and I need to go and fetch a piece of paper to write it down. For me, that's my ADHD part of my ADHD brain. But but the assumption that autistic people are lesser, uh, is 'cause I think that's where that comes from. Um, we're the ones that are always in the wrong when miscommunication happens. Like, no, you know, if I'm talking English and I'm with the French person, the French person's talking French, is the French person wrong because they're not speaking English? No, they're speaking a completely legitimate language. I can't understand them because they're speaking a different language, not a wrong language. Does that analogy work? I think it does. Double empathy problem. I think it's Devon Price, Unmasking Autism. I don't know. Really ought to have read that. ADHD. I'm terrible with books. I'm sitting in front of a load of books. I've not read most of those books. They're just there to make me look clever. Um, so yeah, that double empathy problem. It's real. It's obviously real, and we get, you know, looked down upon because we're not communicating properly. It's like, well, no, we're communicating differently. It's just that you can't understand my autistic way of communicating. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. Doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means it's different. And that acknowledgement that there's a different set of communication styles, just that acknowledgement is progress. And yet we still have to keep repeating it. Like, you're disordered. So, not that people actually say that, do they? You're disordered. Um, or maybe they do. You're mental. So, no, not mental. No, it's different. I've got two jobs, two kids, got a laptop, got a guitar that I can't play. Yeah. I'm not saying, look at me, I'm amazing. I'm saying, you know, by conventional standards, that seems to be pretty good. I'm not, um, but obviously that's skirting across all the inside anxiety that I constantly feel. But, you know, making out that I'm the one that's always in the wrong for communication difficulties, as you might have been accused of, um, it's just not fair. We're just different. I don't know why I was talking about having jobs. That was just a needless brag, really. I don't know why I mentioned that. There was a point, I forgot it. Because I can't keep up my own brain. I can't do what Paul does, just talk and then not instantly regret what I've just said. Um, and I'll overanalyze what I've just said later on when I'm in bed after I've written a music review or after I don't write it. See, the over-analysis part of being autistic for me, for me, just I can only speak for myself. So Harriet, thank you for that comment because that sparked off that very meandering tangent. Um, Margot, just don't have anything nice to say to the ABA stuff. I can't believe there's what's this? What does ABA? I think it stands for behavioural alternative behavioural ABA. What does that mean? Applied behaviour analysis. I mean, the first result is Autism Speaks. That says it all. Not good. If you don't know about Autism Speaks, I'm not going to go into it now. I've not studied it. I know enough to understand that Autism Speaks does not speak for many autistic people. Let's leave it there. A millisecond took me to an Autism Speaks result. No. ABA, no. Informed people think that sensible politics isn't giving them the utopia they hope for, so they decide that Nigel sounds like he has a Nigel Farage or Farage. Yeah, I think you've nailed it, Russell. I mean, it's this problem with sensible politics, um, which it's only sensible depending on your own political viewpoint. My to me, I've got very sensible politics. You know, redistribution of wealth and not perpetrating a genocide. It's very sensible to me. To name just two policies that I would introduce: no genocide, no colonialism, no invading people's land, and claiming it's about religion when it's actually about natural resources. No, that's very sensible to me. But plenty of people, including the Prime Minister of Great Britain, would say no. That's not sensible at all. The opposite is true. Um, sensible politics. What does that even mean? But yeah, people go, oh well, I've not my living standards have got worse, so I'm going to vote for someone that I would probably avoid in the pub because they're a lunatic, and yet I'd vote for them. What? I don't understand it. I don't understand a lot of people like a lot of people don't understand me. So at least in that sense, we're together. If you can hear people shouting, which you probably can't, because my microphone is in the laptop. I haven't got a posh laptop microphone. As I've said before in a live stream, I live next door, 3 doors down from a pub. So it can get interesting. Oh, to be young again when I also had no friends. Hang on. I play by it's Sienna. Fun fact: people who are born blind and also have such a gift for music. Even people with autism have a gift and talent for music. It's an interesting statement. I'm not sure every autistic person is musically gifted, um, but yeah, I think artistic. I think there are a lot of artistic people who are autistic artists. So that might be music, it might be painting, drawing, writing. I think that the Venn diagram, um, autism and being artistic is there's a lot of overlap anyway. I don't know why I said Venn diagram. It's like, ooh, the Venn diagram. Ugh, pretentious. But it's because I've got my brain saying, right, you could use this word, that word, that word, that word. Oh, that sounds creative as it pops up in my head. And then I share one of the many options or several options. And then when I say it, I'm like, that was pretentious. Now I sound like a knobhead. And sometimes I say the right thing, but And then, of course, with emails, and as I've said before, and I'll say many, many times, or write many times, um, the written word for me works better because I can carefully select the words that I want to use and assess which the right option is. And then people misinterpret it anyway because they read between the lines. I'm like, that space between the lines is space. You're adding words in there that are not my words. Read the words that I sent you, and then tell me what I meant. But you don't need to tell me what I meant because I wrote those words, so I know what I meant. Don't like that honesty? Well, you know what you can do. You can go and talk to a neurotypical person who might engage with you a little bit better because they like conversations, whereas I like doing live streams on YouTube. Is that all right? And they'll just say, yeah, that is all right. I will never see you again. Um, yeah, Sienna's really, really talking like, yeah, go and see Sienna's channel. Keep saying that. She really is gifted. I thought I was curious about music and how magical it is, and then I saw Sienna's channel and I'm like, nah, I haven't really appreciated music. Sienna's on a different level. There's not competition. Music's never it should never be competitive. But yeah, Sienna's appreciation is absolutely amazing. Um, I've had people at restaurants and person I like refill like you can talk to me, I'm perfectly capable of answering for myself. Yeah, I think yeah, people think a blind person is affected mentally. I mean that might be the case. I mean, and you could talk about autism, yes, but you know we're all affected mentally because we all have a brain. Um, but yeah, people can make an assumption that you're blind, to have a disability, and therefore you're not as mentally capable. Like how patronizing, invalidating, and annoying would that be? I I can't speak as a blind person, obviously, but I can speak as an autistic person who has been talked down to so many times. Although I'm not comparing Sienna's situation exactly with what I've just said, but yeah, how infuriating. It's like I'm an intelligent human being. I might not be able to see, but I understand. Total difference. Um, Lily, bedtime binaural evidence. Oh, I'm sorry, Lily. I didn't catch that comment 3 years ago when it was made. Funniest thing I witnessed was when someone talked down to my boyfriend who has cerebral palsy, was possibly autistic. My uh, boyfriend pulled a complete school on coding. Yeah, yeah, but good job. Monologue on coding. Not something I understand. Would love to. Yeah, Good Will Hunting. See that made knowledge and monologuing like it made it sexy for an hour and a half, didn't it? Made it like attractive. Like, oh, having lots of knowledge about a subject can be a way to get on with people. Um, you can make a whole film out of it, and yeah, in reality, that can, in my experience anyway, just having a glimmer, like just like not a glimmer. I made that mistake earlier. A glimpse, like just trying to assess whether the person that you're speaking with or people and are really struggling in group situations, like who do I talk to? When do I talk? Blah blah blah. But let's just, for argument's sake, well, not argument's sake. We don't want to argue. Conversation's sake. Um, the person you're you've started the conversation with appears to be demonstrating a level of interest in what you're saying. You autistic person, and so you kind of test the waters, like share information that secretly thrills you very, very much because I want to share this knowledge because it's an act of love, isn't it? It's not, oh, look at me, I know all these things. It's, I trust you, person I'm speaking with, and I have information that I really would like to share because I think you will also find pleasure in that information. And then so many times this has happened to me, I'll kind of feel comfortable to share more information, and then I share too much, and then the eyes glaze, and then I've lost that person. And I do it at park run, or I have done it at park run. I don't run so much these days, which annoys me. But I'm working on it. And I remember one time a guy approached me, said, "Oh, you're that guy that runs." I'm like, "Yeah, so are you." Um, and then I started talking about like Kenyan runners, like really fantastic runners. My favorite runner, see, I'm doing it now. Kenenisa Bekele from Ethiopia. Just love watching him run, and just doing what I'm doing now. But I'm okay because it's an autistic live stream, so I don't feel so cautious. But yeah, and I was just thought I was just engaging with this chap like who had approached me. I'm terrible at starting conversations because I know that I get them wrong so often. So he approached me, and we had a shared interest immediately because we were at Park Run, and yeah, like 10 minutes later, that guy was regretting his life choices. He was like, "Who is this guy talking about Kenyan runners and world records?" And well, you started the conversation, and I thought I could, share my knowledge. No, no, he never wants to see me again. So yeah, but sharing special interests. Just when you meet someone who's going to listen to you, like you guys now, um, although you're not actually literally in the room, um, just having a receptive audience is just absolutely rare and it's very much appreciated because I'm used to being sad kid with no one to talk to because my interests are not shared by most people, and that's fine. But it's mortifying when I try and share a bit to us. See, the problem is that the difference is that I'm sharing information because the information is, for me, inherently interesting and valuable, and also it's a way of showing that I care about the person. The other person, in my experience, and I've realised this in my 40s, knowing that I'm autistic, they see not the information, which might be fascinating, they see it as an odd manner of trying to establish a connection. That they'd rather you know, talk about their day job, perhaps, or talk about the weather, or whatever it might be. I'm picking really stereotypical um, ways of connecting with neurotypical people, but I get it wrong again and again, so I just try not to do it. I went to get the irony of this. I went to I'm part of a disability network at work, which sounds very grand, but basically it's just staff that you know put on events and meet to talk about changing policy in work to make it more inclusive and so disabled people have a happier time at work. That's what it's all about. And we put on a coffee morning so people could meet in the work cafe to find out about the disability network. And I did say in advance, I'm not going to do well at this because I'm terrible at chit chat. You know, unless there's a purpose, and I know the purpose was disability network and celebrating disability. That's really intangible. It's like, what am I there to talk about? What I mean, it's a big company. I don't know who I'm going to talk to, what are they gonna say? Having a coffee, well, if I'm gonna have a coffee, I'll do that on my own. I'm quite good at drinking coffee on my own. I don't need people to supervise me. Um, so why would I go to a coffee morning? And I actually said this in the planning meeting. I said, "Look, I'm not gonna do well at this." So I was self-aware enough to say to my colleagues, I'm gonna struggle with this coffee morning. But I went along. "Oh, hi, Jen. Hi, Sam. And, happy Friday." Go to Jen's channel again, loads of recommendations. Um, so I'm so casual because all these famous autism YouTubers are turning up. Brilliant. And, yeah, and I went to this coffee morning and I hated it. To put it bluntly, I just I actually hid behind someone, um, and took an interest in a fly in the wall or an arrangement of cups on a tray or whatever, anything but be obliged to just talk to fill space and time. Um, but if someone had asked me a question about, autism, Greta Thunberg, you know, famous people who are autistic, because that was part of the point was to, you know, there were posters of famous people with various conditions, not just autism, because it's a disability network. So, um, and yeah, I probably would have been fine, like just talking about our subjects that I'm fairly confident talking about, but just chit chat and welcome people, like with my bum face and my 40 odd years of trauma and getting it wrong. It's a bear pit. And you might think, well, no, it's a coffee morning. No bears are invited. I'm like, yeah, but they might be. I don't know. No one's told me. I'm autistic. I need to know who's going to be there. What's the subject? I don't know. I'm anxious. I've got reason to be anxious because I've got it wrong so many times. See, and then it's a whirlpool of analysis, and and part of that analysis, that analysis, you know what I mean, is happening now in this live stream. I just can't stop it. And my brain is constantly looking to explain things and make sense of things and anticipate things. And it can be amazing when 32 people here just means the world to me to know that people would actually give up their time to listen to me, connect with you, hopefully, um, because it's a sanctuary in in a week of anxiety. Um, I've always had a special interest in people end up as the autistic conversational equivalent to AB plus. Yeah, I mean, this is one reason why I struggle. Thank you, John. Uh, oh, Sienna, musical instruments, sensory items, spirituality, and psychology. See, I'd get on with Sienna. I mean, I get on with Sienna anyway, through the internet. But yeah, I just listen to you, and yeah, we connect through special interests and knowledge. Um, and yeah, one reason why I didn't realize I was autistic, and other people didn't suggest much sooner that I might be autistic, is because I've been very good at masking, and I can clearly talk and hold a conversation, and just about pass as normal. Although, yeah, now I know I'm autistic. I'm like put less effort into. I still do mask a lot, obviously. And like at the funeral today, I was constantly saying like to myself in my head, like stand there, only have 19 cups of coffee, not 25. That's too much. Go and say hello to Gran. Constant like trying to blend in. But knowing that I'm autistic, um, that conscious voice in my head, like, you are autistic, you are allowed to be autistic. Um, if you don't want to be in that room anymore, well, you know, take the time out or whatever it might be, give yourself permission. That's fine. Um, but yeah, I've just pretended to be neurotypical for so long. And I can talk. I can go to work events, coffee mornings, family events, and I can talk all day. The conference yesterday, I had more conversations in a day than I would normally have in a month, and I was exhausted um, because I don't naturally reciprocate in a neurotypical way because I'm autistic, so I have to pretend. And it's obviously deeply ironic because I was there to talk about autism, and yet all the things I was talking about, like masking, I was doing it at the conference. I was masking. I'm like, what to say to people if if it needed to be said. This is all not just theory. This is 24/7 me. Yeah, it's all that presentation. That's not just a presentation. This is me 24/7. Um, and to be able to say that in a live stream like this for my own mental health sanity is, you know, it's just absolutely priceless. But I have to fit in a knob gags as well, because that'll annoy me if I don't do that as well. See, I can't do the you, you all mean so much to me without trying to be silly at the same time. I'm pretty sure that's a trauma thing, you know, the need, yeah, because if you expose yourself, not expose yourself like the man in Asda who almost did, the fruit and veg section. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're gonna have to get back to the start of the video. Um, but yeah, being vulnerable, completely sincere, uh, and then immediately following it up with a silly joke. I'd suggest it's probably trauma, but I've not looked into it enough, and I know it's a subject. Well, many people are interested in it, but Paul, adult with autism, said to me or said in a video that he would like to sort of do a deep dive into autism and trauma, the connection. I'm sorry if this is triggering as well, although I do think yeah, trauma's got a general subject, but anyway. So yeah, can't be completely serious. Gotta slip in a knob gag. Is that a knob gag as well? I'm overanalyzing knob gags. This is the level. Awful. Um, Eve online lost media internet autism mystery autism. Yeah, autism. My special interest autism. Autism music, football. Although not as much as it used to be because it's all about money these days. Um, Autism, football, music. I've done a video on this. Politics, sadly, or films. Yeah, films. Absolutely love it. Yeah, David Lynch. I'm not. I haven't actually watched that much David Lynch, but watching, reading tributes and watching one video in particular that someone had actually made 4 years ago, but it was as if they made it, shortly after he passed away. I'm talking about death again. Anyway, David Lynch, and even though I hadn't watched many of his films, I've not even seen Twin Peaks. Keep my friend Alex, who's obsessed with David Lynch, said you need to watch this, and I'm gutted. I'm like, what a guy, and I'm pretty sure he was autistic. Not that you should just randomly diagnose, but he did go to the same restaurant for 30 years and have the same meal, and he was hugely creative and obsessively committed to many creative projects, and didn't adhere to convention, and I just wonder whether he might have been autistic. And if he has declared that, or someone's, if that's common knowledge, then it's clearly not common enough because I don't know. Um, Jenny, my condolences. And you went to an autism conference. I went to no, the conference yesterday was a well-being conference for businesses. It's not something I routinely do. I only found out about it from a colleague who works in HR at a university where I used to work, and her job is to put on training, like for example, equality, diversity training. And she'd actually watched one of my YouTube videos and contacted me and said, would I like to speak at a conference about autism ADHD? Her overall presentation was about neurodiversity. So that was yesterday, and I went to a funeral today. Um, my uncle's wife passed away on New Year's Eve after 3 or 4 day illness. Yeah. Um, Universal recipient for infidel. Yeah, I've missed comments again. I do apologise. I used to dread coffee mornings. I'd end up people watching getting up. Yeah, it's just agonising. And you think just grow up. Like it's a coffee morning. It's coffee on a morning. Good times are ahead because I love coffee, and no getting away from mornings. Literally impossible if you're gonna have a day. You have to have a morning. Um, Coffee morning, and just hated it because there was no purpose other than the weird unwritten social dance that neurotypical people do so naturally and seem to enjoy so much. I'm like, well, no, I'm at work, so give me work. Um, and if I'm gonna have a coffee, I'll have a coffee alone or with someone I have a shared interest with. Although you could say, well, they had a shared interest because it was a disability network coffee morning, but to be fair, the colleagues, they're in different departments. So I don't actually know them that well, and only one, to my knowledge, is autistic. And actually, I did get on with her quite well when, um, again, she was showing me how to edit an intranet to change on a disability network intranet. Um, so the conversation had a purpose, and I think she was on side with that as well because it was like we are here to talk about our thing, and it's quite creative, and that wasn't agonising at all. And she's also autistic, um, but yeah, generally it's just like no, I can't be doing this. Just talking for the sake of talking, he says on a live stream. Just sorry for your loss. Yeah, sorry to keep bringing it up. Yeah, so I scheduled in this live stream, um, and yeah, I didn't know that I'd be going to a funeral on the same day. But it's one of those. It's going to happen to us all, isn't it? In it. Right. One thing I love is when uh seeing American people uh take the mickey out of um British accent. Which of course no such thing really, because there's all sorts of accents in Britain. But yeah, in it. I was reading a tweet the other day. Someone said it went viral. Said something like, "The Brits really got it right when they made up the word gutted. It really does its job." And I think, yeah, gutted. I'm very disappointed. I'm gutted. It just sounds like really brutal. So yeah. Um, my internal sense of humour is almost permanently in the gutter, so go ahead with the knob gags. Okay, I will. Thanks, Harriet. Um, see, I was trying to be clever then. I just no, no. Wow, such an appropriate nick. My humans. Okay. I don't know if David Lynch has identified this, but he did complain about texture sensitivities and difficulty in finding comfortable pants. John, I didn't know that. Well, God, how many traits do we want to stack up for Mr. Lynch? Um, I had no idea. Yeah, come on, come on. It's got to be. Um, I woke at 3:30 p.m. Did I have a morning? Are you a student? I mean, that's the type. That's the time that I woke up when I was at university. That's a lie. I woke up at 2:30, not 3:30. And then I think about writing an essay or reading a book or a poem. I prefer poems because they're shorter. Um, I could get away with, you know, I could talk about a poem and pretend that I'd read a lot about the poem. But when it was a book, like, oh, I'm not reading a book. No, I've got better things to do, like spend the whole term in the student bar, which is what I did. I spent basically the first year in the student bar. Fun times. I've done a video about that. It's called University. Well, it's called Autistic Not Alien University. I wish we could go back. Unemployed and badly dysregulated. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Someone comes with legs. Um, yeah. Well, I was unemployed not that long ago. And I appreciate the structure that employment can give. Maybe that's part of it, but you can speak for yourself, Paul. I'm not going to speak for you. Um, but yeah, I'd like to be unemployed. That's not the right thing. I want to be employed doing what I want to do. But then, so surely everyone does to an extent. We want to do what we want to do with our lives, make our own structure, and I think that's especially important for autistic people having that autonomy because it's autonomy just means control over what you do. And control means predictability, and predictability means safety. So, it's not I want to be in control because I like to be the boss. It's I want to be master of my own destiny. Thank you very much. But then, surely, plenty of non-autistic people would say the same. Um, oh, academic on nefarious. Hello again. Good morning or good evening. It's 10 past 10 here. Um, Lynch also hated invasive interviews and made many group settings complain that you saw no point in talking about his movies and projects, saying that the works themselves were his communication. Uh, yeah. I mean, I've seen him do interviews, and he seems to be enjoying them. But I get the point. I mean, the thing is, if that was my job as a film director, and I've made this film that I was really proud of, I like to think that I would do the interviews like with, you know, I'd look forward to them. I'd enjoy them because I was talking about something that I was proud to make. Like someone invited me to talk about, well, like I did yesterday at the conference, and I got to talk, albeit for a couple of minutes, about my YouTube channel, or just mention it in passing, actually. If I was doing that on a regular basis, I think that'd be great. So I'm not quite sure why Lynch hated that, but then he did say invasive interviews, so maybe it's just the degree of questioning, and also interviews, and that's not quite the same as talking at a conference. So yeah, I don't know. I thought you enjoyed interviews. Apparently, there's an AI app now that you can have read any book you page. Yes, the AI keeps being mentioned. Yeah, I've tried talking books, audiobooks, and I didn't really get on with it. Just not. I'd say it's ADHD. I just brain craving like novelty. I'm like, I'm done with that book. Right, no, you've got another 380 pages to go. Oh, I can't read a page without being distracted 10 times because I read a word and I go, "Oh, that's an interesting word. Oh, that reminds me of when I went to such and such. Oh, that's an interesting word. That reminds you of Taylor Swift's birthday. Oh, I wonder what Taylor Swift's gonna be doing next in her musical career. Oh, I've got to read the start of the page again. Oh, I'm bored now. I feel bad because I can't even read our page. Oh, I'm a terrible person. I can't read a book." Yeah. It's amazing that I've got an English degree, isn't it? In it. You see, that's how amazing it is because I can't speak properly. Um, wait a minute. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you. I have to agree that the structure of employment really does help, but I still behave going to work. Yeah. Yeah. Thing is, although I'd like to be master of my own destiny, if I didn't have to go to work, I'd won the lottery and I could just make YouTube videos all day. I'd probably be less productive because I'd be like, oh, well, I can always do that tomorrow. And oh, if I don't do it tomorrow, I'll do it the day after. Whereas because I've got to go to work for someone else, every hour that I have outside of work is precious. It's like, well, if I don't do it then, if I don't record the YouTube video in that particular hour, then I can't do a YouTube video that week. That's how tight for time I am because I'm so busy and so in demand, you know. Lack of autonomy over oneself is a common cause of depression in alistics and autistic. Yeah, I mean, surely yes, I don't think that's just like as you've just said, it's not just an autistic thing. It's if you're told what to do and it's against your will, then that's going to make you very unhappy. And yet, it's somehow accepted that certainly, many places around the world that we spend most of 5 days out of every seven being somewhere we don't really want to be, doing things for someone that we don't want to do them for. That makes sense. And then we die. Oh, I've mentioned it again. Um, yeah, s- but I have been self-employed, briefly, and yeah, doing tax returns. Oh no, because I'm ADHD, I was like, put it off, and it's like, oh no, if I don't do it, then I'm going to get a fine. I always got it in on time, but the stress was reason alone not to be self-employed. Um, but if you're earning enough money, I suppose you could just ask an accountant to do it for you. But I never earned very much, and that's why I'm not self-employed still. Um, if interviews were more open and casual, you enjoyed them. But okay, fair enough. I really should do a deep dive into not only David Lynch's films, but his awkward interviews and the good ones. Um, I might have missed the discussion, but what's the stream talk about how fast January has gone, how participant? Yeah, I probably um, unknowingly misled people um, by just using an alliterative title. Um, I just liked how it sounded, "Jog on January Blues," and I thought I'd rather give the live stream a creative title than just say January live stream. Listen to Neil drone on. I thought, ah, "Jog on January Blues." That sounds good. So I didn't intend for this to be specifically about how we cope with January blues, although I can understand why people might have thought that's what I was going to talk about. So sorry if I've disappointed anyone. Um, but no, I wasn't intending to just talk about January and how difficult it is. Jog on January is a great song title. Maybe, but I'm not the person to write that song. Um, plenty of other people could do it. Maybe Sienna could do it. Um, it's funny whenever you and Mike read comments, it sounds like you guys are on two times speed. Yeah, and then read. Yeah, you mean read out loud? Yeah, because I'm just catching up. That's why. Um, Audiobooks are good for me, but I can only listen when I'm driving or I get distracted to fall asleep. Cool. Yeah. I listen to, a lot of ASMR when I'm at work, but it doesn't really doesn't I think the tingles doesn't really happen now. I think I've become desensitized to it. Maybe I should listen to books being read to me. If interviews are more schedule, oh, sorry, I've read that bit. Yeah, absolutely. Google Play Books can also read books. Yeah, distractions also cause task switching, which most. Yeah, yeah. I didn't realize this was a very common autistic trait. The difficulty moving from one task to another. My brain just can't cope. It's like my wife makes uh, regularly brings this up. Uh, when I'd be on the laptop, like this is before I found out I'm autistic, talking, but it still happens when I'm in the zone, I'm doing something, and she'll knock on the door or just lean in and say, I'm off out, or do you want a drink or whatever. Just being a nice person as she always is. And what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, and she jokes that because I'm like, oh well, I always get really startled, even though she's just being nice. Like, oh, because it disrupts the activity, takes me out of that zone. And she says I'm like uh, Jack Nicholson in The Shining when he's typing and he just flips his lid and like Shelley Duvall's like, what? Didn't sorry, we're a couple, and I'm like this demonic character in The Shining when someone tries to offer me a cup of tea. It doesn't make me sound very reasonable, does it? But it's just really struggle to move from one task to another. And yeah, when my wife gets back from school, with the children, my wife's a teacher, and I Monday to Friday I make the tea, make the dinner, and usually they'll arrive when I'm just finishing up making the dinner. Sometimes my wife will try and have a conversation with me. I mean, just unreal. Try and have a conversation with the person you're married to. It's just unbelievable. And because now I know I'm autistic, I'm like, I actually say, just give me a moment. Let me finish that thing that I was doing. Um, I'll be with you in a minute because I can't do two things at once. It's physically painful to me. Um, I need to do that thing, finish it, tick off the list, you know, then I'll answer your questions about how my day was, grumpily, which is my mode. Like, "It's all right. I can talk to you now. I've finished chopping up the potatoes. How was your day?" So I'm not very good at that because it's small talk. But it's not small talk. It's very important talk because you don't ask those questions as a married couple or show an interest. It's not going to end well, is it? Right. Let's catch up again. Lynch, so many levels of modern Alfred Hitchcock, uncompromising artist and a super likable guy. Yeah, although I read recently Alfred Hitchcock was a bit of a rotter, but I never met the guy. I don't know. I don't know. I never met David Lynch. Um, but I think the comparison about them being uncompromising and having a vision is probably correct. Um, tax returns being so stressful to the point of mental paralysis. Yeah, and I'm sure. Well, I know I'm not alone in that, and they are difficult forms to fill in. Hubby's self-employed and he is always doing his books on the last day. Yeah, and that was me. And I'd phone up the helpline like, I don't know what that box means. What? And bad idea because of course loads of people would leave it to the last minute. So the phone line was always really busy. And yeah. So, and then I got this letter from Her Majesty's Revenues and Customs, HMRC, saying Yeah, we're not taking any tax from you, um, because I wasn't earning enough to give money to the taxman because I wasn't doing that much teaching. And what a relief. I was like, "Yes, I don't need to do a tax return." But it is a problem I would like to have because I would like to be self-employed doing autism advocacy and making silly YouTube videos. And if a tax return was a downside to that, so be it. The autonomy would more than make up for it. Um, yeah, I don't have discipline to be self-employed. I'd just be stressed out. I think, yeah, it's a pipe dream for me anyway at the moment. So I can, what I can get stressed about the stress it would cause me, but it'd be hypothetical. But it's not a stress I need to get stressed out about because I'm not going to be self-employed tomorrow. Um, it's a true privilege to be able to do something that you like and interests you and be paid for it. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on work. Most ASMR hits me like chewing, or nails and chalkboard does for a lot of, yeah. Well, we're all different. We've all got our different ASMR preferences. One of my favorite ASMR artists is American, well, Chili Bee. She doesn't need any endorsement from a random British guy with a small YouTube channel, but I'm going to put her name in the chat anyway. Full-time YouTuber. Too right. She's so good at what she does. Um, Before I was ADHD. I used to get really annoyed with interruptions while I was cooking, especially with three times 5-year-old kids. And yeah, that's hard. That's hard. Well done, you. Um, to keep tax work's been slow since COVID. So, so what you want to do? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep the tax. Well, I thought I could get away. I'd get away with it. I always declared because I'm honest. I'm autistic. I don't like the anxiety of thinking, well, if I don't declare it, what if the taxwoman catches up with me? So I was always honest. It's like, right, this is what I've earned. Right, put it through the system. I'm like, you want that much out of the pitiful amount that I've earned? Just, and it was like 20% as it is standard, but still hurt to give that money away. Well, give that money away, give back to the government. Um, so I'm sure I've missed lots of comments. It's come up to 3 hours, and I think I'm gonna wind up because I'm clearly flagging, and, I'm sure you've got tax returns to fill in, or maybe not, because they have to be filled in by the end of January in the UK. I think that's right. See, it's that long since I've had to do one. God, I didn't think I'd be talking about tax returns in a live stream. I didn't think that would really grab the viewer's attention, and, turns out it hasn't really. There's not a lot of comments about tax returns, and I understand that. Might Mr. Skipper, what's the stream to? Oh, I've heard that bit. Read that bit. Um, okay, well, I think I've caught up, but if I haven't, and you're still in the room, then yeah, let me know. Repeat yourselves. Um, if you want, I have to do the thing I'm avoiding here. Hey, Paul, he's still here. Um, you you must have an iron bladder. Um, I am gasping slightly to visit the bathroom. Um, but yeah, maybe it's hyper focus in a way, isn't it? Doing a live stream. If you're enjoying it, like you just forget that your body has things it needs to do, like move around and go to the toilet. Um, yeah, 3 hours feels like, well, it feels like an hour. But yeah, you're probably right. As soon as I stand up, I'll be like bent double because my bladder's going, "What?" Um, a tax returns need to be done by October, January, so much extra time. Yeah, sorry, believe it or not, starting conversations about tax returns is not something I regularly do. Um, it's I'm sure there's a YouTube channel for everything. There'll be a YouTube channel for talking about tax returns, and there'll be a YouTube channel for talking about how you shouldn't make a YouTube channel about tax returns. Just endless. Um, yeah. Well, that's see, random connections. Lee not catheterized. So I used to, with my autistic friend Alex, used to run uh, a record label, which sounds grand, but it clearly wasn't. It was just two people, two autistic people obsessed with music. And if it was successful, then I would have told you about it much sooner. I would have told you about it first thing. So it wasn't successful, apart from the fact that we had a great time and saw some great bands. Um, and it was called because yeah, Alex got a sense of humour. It's called Cat Cutter. It still doesn't make sense to me. Like cat as in cat, cut the cat, cat cutter. Um, and I was talking to a distributor or CD manufacturer, you know, it's quite a while ago, and I said, "Yeah, Cat Cutter Records," and he said, "What? Catheter Records?" And I said, "Are you taking the piss?" Ba-doom-tsh. But no, I didn't say that. He'd said that bit, but I wasn't quick enough to say that bit that I've just pretended I said. Um, so yeah, don't call your record label Cat Cutter Records because people just think it's catheter, and no one's going to buy music from Catheter Records, are they? Or Colostomy Bag Records. Maybe that's the name you've been searching for. Maybe that's the kickstart you need to setting up a record label. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Mm, I do chat some rubbish, don't I? My flute is broken. It makes me sad. I need to take it to be repaired. See, this is how addled and silly I am. I thought that was a euphemism. But no, your flute is actually broken. Yeah. But you know why I thought that was a euphemism? Um, Partly because I'm being stupid now, like I am every single time, but partly because on the way back from the funeral today, um, I was made to listen to the appalling song "Whistle" by Flo Rida. I mean, if you're gonna base a song on a knob gag, try to be subtle about it, I would say, 'cause, it might be funnier, but just, um, rubbish, rubbish. I'm just jealous because he probably made a lot of money out of a very bad song. You're in the music bit, good. Right, okay, on the home straight now. Let's say I'm gonna pick a time. So let's give it another 10 minutes. People still here. I feel bad for going, but I'm not much entertainment if I can't keep my eyes open. Um, so yeah, music-based puns or toilet humor, you know, it's a safe space. Feel free to, you know, share your best dad jokes, bad puns, and I'll steal them. I might even write a poem based on them. Um, Ella seems to have arrived and we are talking about knobs. Well, that's the funniest sentence I've read all night. Thank you for that, Tracy. Um, well, you're talking about knobs, so over to you. Yeah. What sort of knobs do you mean? Because we've been talking about doorknobs all night. Very niche doorknobs and tax returns, and Taylor Swift's birthday, funerals, or our funeral, double empathy problem, reasonable adjustments to some extent. We're clearly relaxed here. I should hope so too. Um, watching Dana Anderson's live streams over Christmas, well, it's probably partly because it was Christmas, meant to be chilling out. But I got the impression with Dana Anderson that she's always it's always so relaxing. Like it feels like you're in a house having a chat. Very welcoming. Yeah, it might be, you know, working class thing. It's just really down to earth, like authentic and very relaxing. And I hope I can achieve a similar ambiance. That's Nobody's Business. That is so bad. It's brilliant. Well done, Findlestick. That's Nobody's Business. Superb. Um, oh, has Harriet gone? Oh no. Oh dear. I'm sorry if you have gone. Um, well, I say that. I said I was going to wind up anyway. Um, Paul goes, I have arrived. The UK Declaration of Orgasm. Is it? That's the first time I've heard it. Was that a joke? I have arrived. Ugh, well, that's a bit of a mood killer, isn't it? It's like, I have arrived. No, no, no. No one does that, surely. That's got to be a joke. I arrived and literally the first words I heard were knob jokes. My work is done, Tracy. If that's what you've heard first of all, then that's 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 hilarious to me. Although I'm not showing my emotion because I'm autistic and I have a mono face. Inside, I'm cracking up. That's brilliant. I love the fact that someone turned up to a live stream. The first thing they heard, and it was my live stream, and they heard our live stream, and they heard knob jokes as the first thing, not the DSM-5 or the importance of inclusion in the workplace. No, it's log on, jog on January blues, autistic not alien. Right, knob jokes. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, there we are. That's the type of conversations that I prompt. You know, not serious at all. Um, yeah, good, good. Lee Sutton not safe song regarding My D by Mickey Avalon. I'll have to check. Oh, talking about silly um Randy songs. Um, again on the playlist on the way back from funeral today was our Bloodhound Gang. Oh, what's it called? Do It Like They Do on the Discovery Channel. What's that one called? You and me, baby, ain't nothing but man. Yeah, that one. I'm not gonna sing the whole thing. Um, yeah, just appallingly juvenile and excellent. Just really funny. 25 years after it was released. Where does the time go? There's a death metal band called Hate Beak, and its lead singer is an African grey parrot. Well, that's in a competition for best sentence I've read all night and all year. You're up against Tracy for the trophy there. No, I did not know it was a metal band called Hate Beak. That I mean, I've really death metal, I got really into that last year, believe it or not. Um, yeah, I'm checking those out, thank you. Um, is it knob or knob? It's very, very important that, you get that one right. Um, I think it's got a K in it. I mean, if you're being serious about it, it's gotta have a K, surely. But if you just wanna get a cheap laugh, then just use NOB, yeah. But if you're talking to a serious audience, then it's KNOB. Hopefully that's cleared that one up. Monophase reaction perfectly acceptable. Good. Um, you've got to have fun with life too. Amen. Amen to that. Yeah. Yeah. As you say, if you don't, I'm too tired to think of the very simple, very bland cliche. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Is that it? Anyway, yeah. I'm having fun with YouTube whilst, you know, trying to help people, two at the same time. And what's in it for me is structure to my week, like particularly if I've got a YouTube video to like scripted, like I factor that into my week. Um, I look forward to it, helps my mood, and it's fun. So, and I've met you guys, so that's my idea of fun. The PSM5. Oh, there we go. Proper laugh. Like Findlestick, you're on top form. The DSM5 is a PSM5. Yeah, fantastic. Well done. You nailed it. An object of discussion, Paul. Just wow. Yeah, that is tonight's live stream. In fact, I'm gonna steal that. I probably won't use it as a YouTube title, but it's so good. I've got to at least write it down, and then I'll come downstairs tomorrow morning looking for my park run barcode, and I'll find this list, and I'll remind myself of Paul's an object of discussion gag, and it'll set me up for the day. Bloodhound Gang actually has some very intelligent lyrics. I'm not sure I believe that, because that band wrote an album titled "Hooray for Boobies," but I'm happy to be corrected, or should that be erected? That was a bad joke. Don't dignify that with a response. In fact, if there's a thumbs down emoji, please can you all use it? Because that was just weak. Oh, I've coming up to my artificially imposed finish time. I will leave you in peace very shortly. Um, before you head off, what do you have coming up for February? Thank you for asking that. Thank you for, yeah, it's nice to be taking an interest in. Obviously, you are taking interest. You're here in this live stream. I don't know is the answer. I want to do another scripted video next week. I'm not going to get one out this weekend because of things getting in the way. So I'd like to do, in terms of the autism YouTube, I'd like to do 3 videos, um, maybe 4, and I think I'll put in another live stream, but again, give people plenty of notice. And I don't want a repeat of the hiccup that I had at the beginning of this, but at least I know how to work around it, thanks to Russell. Um, so yeah, the answer is more of the same, to be honest. Um, I keep meaning to set up a podcast, but I'm not sure whether if I do it, whether I'll just take recordings from YouTube or do it separately to the YouTube videos. I don't know. I've done podcasts before, and I think people did listen to it, but, you know, don't think it was well, I know it wasn't hugely popular, and that's fine, I don't care really, but it was the time because I was having to, well, shorten it into, something that people would want to listen to, and it already takes me ages to edit the YouTube videos. But, I might do the talking to camera without editing or very much editing, and that would free up time in the week to do a podcast. Um, but this is classic ADHD, just trying to do loads of things because they're new and they're not seeing them through. So who knows? Before I disappear, let you guys allow you to get back to your own lives. What are you guys up to next month? Is there anything I ought to be aware of? Because yeah, more of the same for me. Um, uh, Not stealing when freely given. Cheers, Paul. Yeah, thank you for your gift. Love it. Um, I've listened to the last hour. I've been trying to watch Politics stream at the same time. 6 people talking on it. If you want to listen to the first 3 1/4 hours, well, all of it, then yeah, be my guest. Someone said they had this on in the background while they were cooking. I think that, yeah, good job. Listen to me, random nonsense, and then do something productive at the same time. I like that. Um, the answer is 42, always, yeah. This one, yeah, thumbs down for the bad Bloodhound Gang attempted gag. I saw a deadpan comedian who assured his audience that he was going internally berserk. Yeah, I mean that's me as an autistic person every day of my life. I'm internally berserk. I'm like a volcano. Not rage, just like turmoil, like settle down. Stop being so anxious. Just drift through the day like so many people seem to be doing, although you can't assess what people are going through or what they're not going through just on external appearances, as we know. But just, yeah, just wish I wasn't so on edge all the time. I'm having my kitchen and dining room ripped apart and repairs done that I've been waiting for over 3 years. Cool. Oh, I'm jealous as well because I've lived in this house for 10.5 years and can't afford a kitchen, and it's falling apart. Yeah, goodbye January. So yeah, we are saying goodbye. Jog on, January blues. Jog on, January. It has felt really long for me. I don't know about you guys, but such a long month. I don't want to wish time away, but January is always hard. Certainly in the UK, dark, cold, and people don't have much money because it's Christmas, and yeah. Stop trying to catch up so much. Let those things go. Figure out where I once head. If you're always in catch-up mode, you're not making progress. Yeah, good advice. Yeah, knowing when to let go and just, yeah, good advice as always. Um, thank you for making me laugh. Thank you, beauty activist, and thank you for your lovely comments and in response to previous videos. Really means a lot. Yeah, no comments, no videos really, and it's not why I do it. Like, yeah, get loads of lovely comments. I do the videos because I enjoy doing them and trying to help people, but the effort people put into the comments is, so I'm commenting on the comments, and it just changes my whole day. It's like just a comment, but it's rarely a comment. It's like several. Just really appreciate it. So thank you. Um, it's not by choice. It's council. Yeah. Whenever someone says the answer followed by pause, I can't help saying 42. Yeah, I think this is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams. I think that's the 42 answer to everything. But I haven't read that because I'm terrible at reading books. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. So it's 20 past now, and I am going to wind up. Um, I'm doing the thing that I've been advised not to do, catching up. Um, yeah, you know what? You know where I am. So I'll put it in as it's. So just thought of it. I don't get many emails, which is fine because we comment on the comment section. But if I missed anything tonight and you desperately want me to acknowledge it, you want a proper reply, the backup plan would be to email me and check my autistic not alien Gmail every day now. Um, yeah, likewise, have a lovely night, day, wherever you are, rest of. Um, yeah, Tracy, sorry about, I think it was yourself who said about the knob gags. Yeah, I said it again. Sorry. It's not a routine thing where I just turn into a 17-year-old boy and make silly jokes about that. No. The previous live streams have been far more serious and meaningful and autism related. But if you do want more knob gags, then I don't really need the encouragement because they'd probably happen anyway. Um, yeah, Hitchhiker's Computer called Deep Thought. Yeah, really ought to read that book. But I'd say that about so many books. Tracy, knobs. Well said. Yeah, I really, really agree with that. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, I probably would have gone with four Zs, but I think yeah, five is probably the best way of putting it. So well done. I like that a lot. Autistic, not alien. Was that spelt right? Um, or, I've not spelt my own email. Thank you. I did think that looked correct. Autistic. No, thank you for correcting my own email address. It is not what I've just typed. Unbelievable. I'm blaming it on late night. All right, see if I can get it right second time. Autistic, not alien. I got it right this time? Right. Thank you, Lee. Think you've been here for most of it today. So yeah, thank you so much for your patience and encouragement. That goes for everyone. Um, yeah, Hitchhiker, one to catch up on. Okay, right. I am gonna leave you all. I will schedule in another live stream the next month. Uh, I don't know what the frequency should be. One a month. I don't want to overdo it because I want it to feel like an event. Sounds pretentious, but you can overdo these things, and then people will lose interest. So I don't want that to happen. Don't want you to lose interest. Also appreciate people who've got lives and other YouTube channels to check out. And but I do love the live streams so much. So I'll have a think about when to schedule in the next one. When you have something to share, make a live stream. Don't schedule it. Yeah, and that is another option. I mean, Mike, Autistic AF, I've seen him just start a live stream. And I've turned up. That's why I know about them. And other people, I've had plenty of people join in. So yeah, I might do that. But my autistic brain says good to plan things. So good to schedule in a live stream rather than just start a live stream. But there is no harm in me just starting a live stream and see what happens. So I might do that. Good idea. Okay, well, I am going to get a glass of water and hopefully get up in time for park run. Remind myself of the goodies, morphological parsimony, Mickey Avalon, hate beak, and an object of discussion. And if you've got any recommendations, um, particularly music, film, or autism resources, I would say, um, send an email to the correct email address, autisticnotalien@gmail.com, and you'll be a forever friend because, well, you are anyway. Um, because I love that knowledge, I love that information. Donnell, thank you so much. Um, cool. Well, hopefully see you again. I'll see your name at the very least. Um, Unscheduled live stream job for your ADHD part of the brain. Absolutely, yeah. Think I probably will. You're talking me into it, so yeah. Thank you, Russell. Many thanks for you because I think I might have just given up and I wouldn't, this 3.5 hours wouldn't have happened. And you've saved the day. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I was looking forward to this. I was going to give up and we had a plan B in the end. So thank you all for bearing with. And yes, Mr. Bungle's music scratches my ADHD itch as well, if I was familiar with it. Right, guys, I'm going to click on end stream. Um, email if you need anything. If it's an emergency, don't do that because I won't be able to help. And yeah, it's been fun as it always is. And yeah, been a privilege. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 like I do with my dad in Glasgow when he's on WhatsApp and my kids are there. And I say, like, 3, 2, 1, because I'm terrible at ending conversations. So, 3, 2, 1, bye.